Lovely. The time has come, Mark. The end of this horrible fucking apocalyptic year it's finally over.
At last.
At long last. And the end of the Parapod is also here.
This is the final episode, the final episode extravaganza.
Because we're ending with Shrek the Musical, I guess.
We're committing podcast suicide by reviewing Shrek the Musical.
We're going to become a fuck movies now. We're all about musicals now. Just musicals.
What a musical podcast. Yeah, why not, you know? There's definitely a gap in the market there. We have to exploit it.
I imagine that I guarantee that there's some like huge fucking podcast that has probably like hundreds of thousands of listeners, and they just talk about musicals. I guarantee that's the thing.
Musicals, a
Yeah.
musical podcast. Yeah, like what? Like who would be the audience for that? You know, who would listen to that?
Theater kids.
Theater kids. Oh,
Yeah.
You know, well, they're pretty rich.
Yeah, to be
That
fair, there.
Patreon money,
That
you know.
Patreon, I say that's banging. That Patreon money's unreal.
Yeah,
How you been anyway?
grand, same old. Good to be back. Going around, buzzing about town. Got a bit of my Christmas shopping in. Christmas is completely obsolete to anyone listening to this.
Yeah,
but
at this stage.
I was getting all my shopping there this week. But yeah, it's been grand, you know.
Mm.
How are you?
I'm good. I didn't really watch that much, so I had to fucking lurry everything into a couple of days.
Lurry, I love that word.
God, it was intense.
Mm.
I watched The Lion King remake.
Yeah, I caught you. I walked in on you watching that. I was like,
Yeah, just finishing
You're
it
like-
off there. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you finished the whole thing, yeah?
and I only got like 15 minutes left. Apparently, the ending is different to the original, but haven't seen the ending yet. I can't imagine that the ending will improve anything about this film. This is a soulless film. Like
A husk.
it's a husk of a film. You know, really love the original Lion King. I think the original Lion King is great. Maybe definitely one of Disney's like top 10 films, I think.
Yeah.
What do you
Everyone
think?
loves it.
What do you think about the original?
I like it, you know.
Mm.
It's like one of those great kids movies.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it. It's really inoffensive. Just does this thing. I don't know, was it based on anything?
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Hamlet.
Whoa. That's a big leap. Hamlet. Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's basically Hamlet.
Hamlet with lions, yeah. Oh, I think I liked it, you know. Everyone knows the songs
Yeah.
and stuff, you know.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves Timon and Pumbaa, is it?
The boys.
The boys.
The fucking
What are they like in
boys.
this one? They're like actually a meerkat and
And a warthog.
warthog. What is a warthog?
Seth Rogen's really good in it.
Is
He's decent.
he's
He's
in this?
he's Pumbaa.
Oh.
And then the other guy, something Erickson. I don't know. He hasn't really been in much,
Mm.
and he's pretty good as well. He can sing. Seth Rogen cannot sing.
Yeah.
Seth
definitely.
Rogen's just like talking during the songs, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main problem with the film is that they are animals. Like that is really the main fucking issue with the film, because there's no emotion in any of the scenes.
Mm.
All the emotion is being driven by the voice actors. And then they got the John Earl Jones, is that his name?
Yeah,
He-
Earl Jones. Anyway.
Earl Jones, yeah, Earl Jones.
Something Earl Jones.
They got him back as Mufasa, and you know,
Yeah.
he is the voice of Mufasa.
They could have
so-
just not done that and just like used the recording, couldn't they? You know.
Yeah, actually, I don't think they could have, because there'd be too much emotion from his voice acting from the original one.
This just doesn't work.
That was it wouldn't
Get
work.
rid of it.
It actually wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But that's like the main, like, oh god, because you know those shots in like in the original one where like the trying to think of the shot of what the fuck is his line, long live the king, when Scar kills Mufasa,
Mm.
and it like zooms in on Mufasa's face, and like the background darkens because he's realized, oh shit, my brother's fucking gonna kill me. And sure enough, he does. In this one, it is the lamest fucking thing ever. There's no emotion in it whatsoever. It's literally two lions, and like it's literally lions. Like there's no emotions from the lions. They're lions, and it's just like long live the king, and then he just smacks him off the fucking edge. And there's no like cool use of color like there was in the first one. Everything is in daylight. Like, you know, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
That scene takes place during the day. There's no like
Tonight,
nighttime.
so it's not tonight at all.
Yeah.
Can you feel the love today? It doesn't really
Yeah,
ring.
it doesn't
Doesn't
work.
ring a bell.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Nothing in this film works. Nothing in this film really works
That's so
because of that.
stupid.
And like, it's not like the voice actor's fault, and it's not like everyone's a great singer except for Seth Rogen, but I don't think he thinks he's a good singer either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's good in it as well, like just like, you know, playing Pumbaa. And it's not, and technically, like, it's insane. Like, they look like proper animals.
How do you think they did it?
I don't know how they did it. Like
why? First of all, how, and then why? There's a lot of questions there. But like, how would you animate, or how do they do the bodies and stuff? Is it two men in a big suit, but like they're wearing green, and then they animate it afterwards?
I don't know.
Or it's like, you know, how did they do that?
Yeah, I've no idea how they did it.
For a full film as well.
For a full, yeah,
Bizarre.
for a film like, and this is longer than the original one.
Is it? Of
Yeah.
course it is. How long is it?
2 hours. The original one's only an hour and a half.
Oh, really? See, look, but like, why would they go to all the trouble of animating all that stuff? And obviously there's like a cutting edge element to it as well. Like this, you know, making a film just animals, sort of photorealistic, hadn't been done before. But they obviously didn't make any attempt to put any emotion or like to make the animals emote in any way.
No.
So they're just like actual animals. You know? It's like Love on a Leash, but like
Love on the Leash actually is better fucking than
that dog's a better actor than these people.
Yeah, there was like kind of not like Love on the Leash like levels of it, but it is really weird when the animal, because they look so realistic, and then they're moving their mouths when they're talking, obviously, and it just looks really weird. It doesn't. There's like an uncanny valley to it, nearly.
Is it like Aslan in
it's
Narnia?
even worse.
Worse.
Yeah,
Aslan was alright though.
but no, because Aslan, I can't really, because I haven't seen Narnia in ages, but like it didn't look really weird with Aslan, but in this, and Aslan kind of emoted.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in this they're not, and it's like even more so with like, there's way more hyenas in this film, right? like you know the way in the original one there's only like 3 main ones.
Yeah, there's like 3.
And then there's like a couple more that like get introduced, whatever, like when it's needed. But in this, there's always loads. And it's really distracting because I know that like 3 or 4 hyenas will take down a fucking lion, no bother. So it's really weird, and they can get away with it when like when it's the original one, because you can like make Mufasa fucking huge because you're animating it. But because in this one he's just a fucking lion, and the hyenas are basically the same size as him, I'm just like, why are the hyenas running away from Mufasa? There's literally 15 of them there. They could kill him so fucking easily.
Yeah.
And like there's loads of bits like that. It's way more distracting when like, because it looks like a nature documentary, and just like, why are the animals not acting like animals? And it's just like, obviously because it's a film, but it's really distracting because they look like real animals.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
It sounds like the whole, you know, the Disney thing where like, or like all the Marvel films, not to egg on the Marvel films again, or to return to that point, but like, you know the way in every third act of a Marvel film they have like 20 million villains,
Yeah.
who all just come in, they just like, is there a scene like that in the new Lion King where they just like, there's like an onslaught of hyenas, you know, they're just expendable like villains,
like kind of like, you know the bit where like Nala and Simba they go to like the elephant graveyard. And also in this one, because it's trying to be realistic, there's no, you know, that shot where like there's the giant elephant head and like Simba like goes into it and like walks around or whatever, and then the hyenas come out that way. That doesn't happen in this film. They're just like around a bunch of rocks, and it doesn't have nearly the same like sinister feeling that the original elephant graveyard had, because it's just rocks, and it's not like green and like musty and dark. It's in daytime in a rocky area. It looks like, have you ever seen Dinosaur, like the original?
the CGI.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, I can't remember anyway.
There's a couple of shots in that where like they're just in like rocky terrain, and it just looks like that basically.
Yeah.
And then the hyenas come out, and they've changed like the kind of dynamic where, you know, in the original one, I don't know what the hyenas' names are, but the girl hyena was clearly the smartest one out of the 3. In this one, it's like she's the leader of the entire pack, and like everyone else is like subject to her. And like when Mufasa comes in, he's just like, whatever the fuck your name is, you know to stay away from my son or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, I know, we'll leave him alone next time or whatever. and then Scar teams up with her more so than the hyenas. It's more like Scar and her have a pact, and it doesn't really work because there's no comedy in this film really either.
Yeah, that's a bit stupid, isn't it?
Except for there's a good scene like where Pumbaa has to like, you know, be bait for the hyenas when they're coming back to like take back Pride Rock. And Timon's on top of Pumbaa and he starts singing the Be Our Guest from the Beauty and the Beast. And that's funny. For like that's it. That is it for jokes. And it's just like, they're referencing Beauty and the Beast and that's funny.
They're referencing another movie that the same company made. It's like that's not that funny, is it?
It's not that funny.
It's not what it's about, you know? Just another soulless Disney yoke, isn't it?
It is.
What are they at?
It's the most blatant example of it because like if you're gonna remake something, make it better. Like remake things that like need to be remade. Like when we get onto it later on,
remake it.
I think that like not that They Live needs a remake, but I think a new version of They Live would be really cool.
Yeah, but like you'd have to change it. You couldn't
you
couldn't just do a remake. Get like fucking John Cena to be John Nada or whatever, you know. Like get like Twix or no, I don't know. Like sort of
although I feel like if they were to remake it, phones would be a lot more dominant in the film.
Yeah.
But like that could be like
it turned into like a Black Mirror thing. That'd be the danger. But you could do it in like a really subtle way.
Yeah, you could do it in a really cool way.
Yeah, definitely.
Where like I think that could add something to it. But this is like a worse version of the original film, and that was only made to make money.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the other remakes like Beauty and the Beast and stuff like that?
No, I haven't seen any of them. This is the only one I've seen.
I won't be seeing any of them now.
I feel like I feel like I'm gonna have the same fucking problem with every single one of them. It's like it's soulless, like it's only made to make money.
Yeah, what's next on the fucking? What else they made? They remade
I really want to see Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah,
I feel like
that.
I think that one would look fucking mental.
Yeah.
Because they used actual dogs in that.
Did they?
Yeah, but they had some like CGI'd over their mouths.
That's more interesting.
Yeah.
But why? Like, you know, they should remake The Fox and the Hound. Ever see that?
Yeah.
That's the saddest film I've ever seen.
And foxes are so fucking cute.
Yeah.
Foxes are lethal.
They could get that fox from Antichrist and just get it and get the dog from Lady and the Tramp. And they're just
perfect.
That's literally perfect.
It's literally perfect.
Meryl Streep as the old lady or something. And you'd be grand, you know, you'd be set. Yeah, I don't know. They should just stop.
They should stop. But they're not going to stop because I think, maybe Mulan might make them stop.
Hopefully, yeah. The Chinese aren't buying into Disney's their BS.
They're bullshit.
They're bullshit about remaking films that everyone's already seen. So I think the Chinese have spoken and Disney are listening because they're always listening to the Chinese. Don't listen to us, podcasters.
Yeah. Don't listen to us two dudes.
But to listen to the Chinese. So hopefully the Chinese have saved us yet again. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I feel like if I went back and I watched the remake of Aladdin, because Aladdin's my favorite Disney film.
Really?
So I feel like if I went back and watched that, like that would be like, I think that one would really hurt.
Yeah, because I've heard that's one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Of the remakes.
You
know what they should remake? What's it called? El Dorado.
That's DreamWorks though. But yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, that is DreamWorks.
Well, no, then there's no point because DreamWorks aren't remaking stuff. Was Spirit was that DreamWorks as well? I feel like that was already remade. The one with the horse.
Is that DreamWorks? I think that's DreamWorks as well.
Wow. Well, maybe Disney was just shy.
Fucking loads of, but like even like because I was like even I'm thinking of like what do I want to do? I was like Prince of Egypt. But I'm pretty sure that's
a great film.
That's DreamWorks as well. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Ridley Scott already made that with fucking Exodus. Christian Bale.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't good. No. Didn't work out.
Didn't work out well.
What else did they make?
I can't think of like. I'm trying to think of like old
animated.
Snow White.
No.
Maybe, but like the three.
What could you do
the
with that?
Seven Dwarves look so fucking weird if they were to remake that.
Yeah, exactly. They'd look like the dwarf in Shrek the Musical.
They'd actually look way worse because I feel like because the Seven Dwarfs have like little rosy cheeks and all, and I feel like how they would do that would look like really grossly red.
Yeah, well, that'd be alright. That'd be funny. It'd be worse if they did the fucking TikTok yoke where their faces are just covered with blush or whatever. and then the rest of things just played straight. They should do don't do Snow White. Wizard of Oz. I think that could call
Wizard
for
of Oz deserves a remake.
Definitely. Is that Disney?
No, but
It's not. I don't know.
I think just in general, maybe Disney or maybe they own it now. Maybe it was Fox originally or some shit like that.
It was MGM.
It definitely was MGM. Yeah.
Yeah. Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, maybe.
Man, did you ever see Return to Oz?
Is that the one with the weird little bike?
The Wheelers.
Yes.
They're terrifying.
They're fucking awful.
They're so scary. I was terrified of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she goes back to it's almost like Narnia. She goes back to Oz and everyone's turned to stone and stuff. Like there's been like an apocalypse. You know?
I remember that. Yeah.
It's so scary. And she goes through a gallery of disembodied heads and they're all talking to her.
Oh my god, yeah. What the fuck?
So scary. That was made by the cinematographer for The Godfather. They're like, we love your work. Would you like to do anything? And he was like, yeah, I'd like to make a sequel to Wizard of Oz. And they're like, all right.
Yeah, sure, whatever you want.
Okay.
And he just makes it really like, because kids watch that film, but that film is scarring. I think I've only seen that film once when I was a kid, and it stuck with me.
I think it's either a 12. I don't think it's a 15, but it's at least a 12 film.
Yeah.
But it's a Wizard of Oz film, and it's just I really liked it. They should do something like that again with Wizard of Oz, you know, rather than pretend to be like, oh, we'll do another version just for the kids. Do like a dark version of get Christopher Nolan on, get him on the phone,
get David Lynch on this.
Yeah, David Lynch on Wizard of Oz, you know, something like that, something creative.
I said David Lyncher because I meant to say David Fincher.
David Lynch, yeah, David Finch. Whatever. David
Lynch actually doing Wizard of Oz would be fucking crazy. That'd be so good.
Colin McLaughlin's the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Fucking Laura Dern's is Dorothy or something, you know?
There's a lot you could do there.
There's a lot.
There is a lot
you could do.
You could get that guy the guy that played a Razorhead to play the lion.
Yeah. Everyone's just really old.
I mean, actually, you could make it about aging or some shit.
Yeah. That'd be so good. Kaufman doing the screenplay.
Disney, hit us up. I don't know if you own the rights to Wizard of Oz. You probably do at this stage though.
Yeah, hit us up, please.
Yeah, but there's not much on Disney Plus. Is fucking shy. I'm getting rid of my Disney Plus subscription.
Same. I'm cutting the cable, cutting the cord with Disney Plus. Waste of time.
It is a waste of time.
You know, it doesn't play when I actually want it to play. First of all.
Yeah, half the time never fucking works either.
Yeah. It's like it times out or whatever. I just want to watch The Simpsons, and then the rest of the time there's nothing else on it except for The Simpsons. So why would you pay? It's only €6 a month, but like, or €7 or whatever. But fuck that.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. I'm gonna stick to my Prime, my Netflix, and my Now TV.
Now TV is good, isn't it?
It actually is. You know.
You were saying you've been watching Sopranos.
Yeah, I started The Sopranos. Very, very good. I've not much to say because I'm only 3 episodes in, but it's like the Godfather thing where like they're criminals, or Breaking Bad where like they're criminals and like, you know, but they have a heart, and you're just like, this guy's so cool, you know. He's doing all these terrible things.
Later, like, because I'm on season 3, like I'm watching that really slowly. It's my nice little back burner show, but it's so good, and it's like weirdly comfy as well. Like when you get into like later episodes in season 1 and season 2, episodes are like comfy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Even though it's a gangster show, like,
it's about, like whacking people and stuff. Yeah.
It's so good though. I'm like fucking Paulie is the best.
Is that the guy with like the dyed hair?
He's got the no, that's Sylvie. That's Sylvie. Paulie's the other one. Paulie's the one with the kind of grey hair.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's fucking unreal. He's actually probably the best character, and like he gets better and like more. I know that later on he becomes like even better.
Yeah, because I just watch it before I go to bed past few nights. It's like even the early episodes, just like this is class. Like I love it because I haven't watched TV series in so long. Like I don't really watch TV, like premium dramas. I don't know since when. Probably like I think Bates Motel is the last like serialized TV show that I watched. And just like getting back into this, it's like I remember the comfiness of sitting down and watching Breaking Bad, and like thinking of it now, like abstractly before I started watching Sopranos. It was like, why did I do that? Like sit down for a full hour and watch a TV show. But now I get it.
Yeah,
I've rediscovered my passion for just sitting down and just.
And it's only an hour.
Letting it wash out. Yeah, it's only an hour. You know, only 45 minutes or whatever, 50 minutes. HBO, what are they doing? They've been slacking recently. Yeah,
well, Watchmen is good. I'm still watching that. Watchmen's take me fucking ages to watch because I just watch an episode again with TV shows. Like I don't really commit like binge watching TV shows. It takes me a while to watch TV, and I actually have no. At this stage, I should have just finished Watchmen. Watchmen's only 10 episodes long, and I've been watching it for like a month. There's no excuse. But
There's no excuse there.
But yeah, I like just like watching a TV show and like just like sitting down for an hour and you watch it and then it's just done and it's like perfect. And it's like, will I watch the next one? I guess that's how people do binge watch, because it is like it's only an hour, so maybe I'll just watch 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm watching Extras. Ever watch Extras? Ricky Gervais.
No, but I've heard it's really, really good.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so good. I watched it before, but this is my waking up thing.
Yeah.
Like I go to bed, watch Sopranos, I wake up next morning, and I watch a bit of Extras. It's so good. It's just like he has a new guest every episode. He's like, I think I was telling you before. It was like Patrick Stewart, fucking David Bowie.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's in the pilot episode, like pretending to be like acting as an asshole director, but he's playing himself. And like all these like EastEnders, like has-beens.
Yeah.
And they're playing themselves, but they're playing themselves as like absolute losers. I don't know how he convinced them to be like so humiliated on TV, but like it's so funny. It's just hilarious.
My mom really likes Extras as well.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
He's another Derek as well, isn't it? Is Derek?
I've
good?
never watched Derek.
Never watched Derek though.
It doesn't seem like, because like watching Extras, there's like a lot of jokes that wouldn't pass muster these days in terms of like their consideration of like differently abled people and stuff like that, or even race as well. There's a joke in the early part of Extras which is a bit weird, but I don't know, because I've never watched Derek because I just found it a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know,
the like photo at the start, the cover picture, whatever.
It's like, why is Ricky Gervais playing like a disabled guy?
Yeah, you know? I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch that ever. Yeah, but The Office is great. So
exactly, that's all we need to watch.
and Extras is great as well.
Yeah,
we were good anyway. I haven't seen it, but like, yeah.
Old
Ricky Gervais is good.
Yeah, the old guy, you know, back at the start. That's what the Extras sort of is. It's like it's almost a bit, I don't know, narcissistic, because it's clearly just telling the story of him rising up the ranks of the BBC.
Yeah.
And he gets like a pilot, and he gets a TV show eventually, where he was a loser before. But like in this one, it's like it turns out badly, whereas The Office obviously turned out pretty well for him. Pretty well as good as you could ever expect a TV show to turn out, or any sort of script. But it is a bit masturbatory in that way, you know.
Yeah.
Bit of wankery. But yeah, other than that, I watched Harry Potter 2.
I watched Harry Potter 2. Oh,
Chamber of Secrets.
Do I have to like hop in on this Harry Potter buzz now, or let's let you go with it?
No, I'm gonna say right here, don't watch Harry Potter 2. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. I didn't know that going in.
What?
It's 2 hours and 45. I put it on in or me and Orla were watching it on the Friday, I think. It was like just after 12 or something. I was like, grand, watch a little movie, maybe watch something else after, because I like to watch, 2 things before I go to bed. And then it's just slogging on a bit, but I don't really notice because I'm like half asleep. But then by the end of it, I'm like, I'll watch something else next. She's like, oh no, it's
holy shit, it is. What the fuck?
She's like, it's 2:45. I was like, what? I was like, how is it 2:45 watching Harry Potter? It's for no reason whatsoever. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
How long is the first one?
It's 2.5 hours, something like that. They're all mad long for no reason. Like, it has so many subplots and so many diversions that it just keeps going. Time just gets eaten up. Like, it's great for world building and stuff like that. But there had to have been a better way to do that, rather than just spend 15 minutes explaining, who Tom Riddle is or whatever, or who fucking Draco is, or how evil Draco Malfoy is.
I can't believe all these films are like 2.5 hours.
They're crazy.
I never knew that.
Yeah. I found out in a bad way. The hard way, yeah. But Chamber of Secrets is like, it's pretty good. It's like the first spooky
The snake
one.
is cool.
The basilisk.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And like, there's blood in it and stuff, and there's like dead people, and like they're petrified. It's like really creepy.
And is Moaning Myrtle in this one?
Moaning Myrtle's in this. She's like 35.
She's such a sad character.
Yeah. She's pretty
stuck
funny,
in the bathroom.
Yeah, stuck in the jacks for the rest of eternity. Imagine that.
No.
Yeah.
Is this the one where they turn into girls for a bit?
No, I don't think so.
Is it not this one?
They turn into Crab and the fat kid and Draco's lackeys, basically.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, that's what I'm thinking of. Why did I
uh,
think they turned into girls? This happened in later on.
It
No,
might,
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
that might happen later on.
yeah,
But
they turned to crab and whatever the fuck the man's name is.
yeah, you're the fella. I think they're both in prison now, both those actors. But
Really?
yeah, it's mad at times change. But like that part is pretty funny. I remember thinking that was so weird when I was a kid. And there's a part where they're playing Quidditch and
Oh, the arm
the
breaks.
arm yoke.
Oh
that
yeah.
thing. I was like, oh, because I was just before every scene would happen, I was remembering
Yeah. What
like, as
happened
it
in the
went.
scene? Yeah.
That's why I sort of didn't notice time going forward because I was like, oh, I could just see what was coming next. But yeah, I was watching the Quidditch match and I was like, oh no, I was like, just like covering my eyes. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
because like it's so weird.
Quidditch is such a violent sport.
Yeah, how, it doesn't make any sense.
It
either.
doesn't make
It's like hurling in the sky, you know.
It's even like, but it's like, you know that, I don't know, is it in this one where like one of the balls like focuses on
Harry,
Harry, and it's like blasting through the fucking the audience and stuff like that, and like it's like so easy, like that thing could have just easily hit like one of the vital like bits of structure, and the whole thing could have collapsed and people be dead.
Yeah.
Like
It'd
come
be
on,
a crush.
like what is this fucking sport?
Yeah, and that's the main ball. Like there's two balls.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously the snitch and the bludger, I think it's called. But like that's the main ball in the game. Like where did the rest of the crowd, like where did they think the ball was?
Yeah.
They're like, would they not be like panicking and fucking?
Oh
like,
man,
legging
like
it, you know?
imagine that, just like you're sitting there and you're it's like where's the bulge or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, imagine you're at a fucking a football game and the ball just disappears under the stands. Like you'd be like,
And then just crashes in out of the fucking chairs and all.
yeah, you'd be like, what's going on here? You know, Harry Potter at work. But that part is really gruesome. But the ending's really good. And Dobby's in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's he like?
Dobby's grand. You know,
Yeah.
bad CGI, but it was 2002, so I think.
These films are old. These films
Very
come out
old.
the same time as fucking Lord of the Rings, like.
Yeah. I don't know what
And they're the same length as Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But there's 8 of them. You
Yeah.
know? But
I am shocked that they're that long. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because like, I've seen them so many times, I wouldn't think that they're like 2.5 hours long.
I know, yeah. Because it just goes around in circles because it's the whole parts of the film.
But to be fair, it does take place over a year.
Yeah.
Every film does do that, but like.
Yeah, but like you don't need to make it 2.5 hours. Just like make it.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 have no excuse being that long.
Yeah, because they're not even. That's like space a few weeks.
Yeah.
You know? But like there's parts. Like Chamber of Secrets starts off with like Harry being abused again by his family. And like that takes like 15 minutes. And then there's him with Ron, gets rescued by Ron. And then.
Oh yeah, this is the one with the car.
The car, the flying car, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But that takes half an hour. It's like they're not at Hogwarts until like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
That's like, that's the whole point of the movie, you know? Like that's where everything starts. And then you have like fucking Tom Riddle's introduced and the book and Ginny and stuff like that. And the whole mystery is really cool, of course, but it's just like, it just takes ages to get there. The ending is really cool in the sewers.
Yeah.
With the big snake. It's like with the sword and stuff like that. And the little phoenix that comes in at the exact right moment to just heal Harry for no reason. Yeah, and even like the stab in the journal, it's really cool.
And the black like blood kind of coming out of it.
Yeah.
It's cool imagery in that film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's stuff that like, sticks in your mind. I don't know if it's just because I watched it as a child, but I was like, I just remember these images from it. And this is the one where Dobby gets freed. It's like, Dobby is a free elf.
Yeah, and he fucking like zaps like Malfoy's fucking dad away or some shit like that.
Yeah, but don't watch this film. Don't watch it. Don't go near this.
I actually would have watched them if I knew that if they were like 2 hours long. I'd be like, or like close enough to 2 hours. Under 2 hours. They realistically should be. They should be just under 2 hours.
Yeah. How long is the next one? Did you see?
I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Azkaban.
Let me check. 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Because Azkaban and Goblet of Fire are my favourites, so I'm going to stop after that.
Oh, no wonder. The fucking Children of Men director. That makes way more sense.
Quaron,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know he did that. Oh, yeah, sure. The Prisoner of Azkaban's the one with the bus. And it changes size and all.
Bus, yeah.
That's a cool scene. God, I fucking hate the Deathly Hallows Part 1. I fucking hate that movie.
Don't even remember.
My dad and my sister, they like every year or so they go through like all the Harry Potter films and they always skip Deathly Hallows Part 1.
There's no point.
It's a fucking shy film.
Have you ever read the book?
No, I've only read up until The Prisoner of Azkaban when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
I didn't read when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Ever. Look at me now, English degree and all.
Look at us now. I remember the book is amazing. The book was the first book where I was like so into it. Like it's like 800 pages long, and I read it in about 4 days. But I was so into it that like I woke up one morning just before I finished it, and my head, like my thoughts were organized in terms of how J.K. Rowling wrote lines and stuff like that. It was like Mark thought and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, it was like really freaked me out. I guess that's why I remember so well. I was like, what the fuck is that? Who is that talking in my head? But that's how I knew I was really into it. But the book is good. But yeah, fuck that. Fuck the rest of them. After 4, forget about it. After after Robert Pattinson's in it, just check out.
Yeah. It's because I remember fucking what is it, Order of the Phoenix? That's got the one with like the fucking woman that just like abuses all the children for fucking an hour in the film. It's like tortures them and shit like that.
Yeah, Umbridge. Was there any need for that character, to be honest?
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh.
Was there any need for that? Like you everyone hated her watching it, but what was her purpose, you know?
Just to be an asshole.
Just to be an asshole. They could have just skipped that entire book.
I literally can't remember anything about Half-Blood Prince. I literally, except for Dumbledore dying.
That's the one where Cho Chang is in it and they go to the dance.
Yeah, it is. Is it? No, is the third? No, fourth one is the one with the two Indian or Pakistani girls that like go to the ball with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Harry and Ron.
I don't know what their names are. I guarantee I can't remember what their names are, but I guarantee their names are offensive. I guarantee that their names are offensive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that series is weird.
It's gonna be nothing good.
I also watched another sequel, Gremlins 2.
Oh, you watched it?
The new batch.
Oh,
it's
tell
great.
me.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's better than the first Gremlins.
Yeah.
But better in a way that's like, it like destroys the credibility of Gremlins 1 and forecloses on the opportunity of making it into like a further franchise. Like it makes sure that there's no Gremlins 3 really.
Gizmo dies.
Well, Gizmo doesn't die, I suppose, but like it's pretty like it just goes into like this weird like metafictional territory.
Yeah.
You know? Like
is this the one with the sexy gremlin?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, where she like yeah, she's like trying to get with one of the executives because it's set in like this one's set in like a city.
It's like New York or something, isn't it? Or like
fake
New York.
Yeah, the original one's set in like a small town America thing, and it's like even filmed on the lot where they shoot most of those like small town sort of films. And this one's set in like this neoliberal like nowhere, this hellhole, which is just New York, with like it's like Gotham or whatever. It's like a
place,
a substitute for New York, and like it's about Billy and Kate.
Wait, it's the same characters.
Yeah, they're
Didn't
back.
know that.
They're back. Same actors as well. They're back, and they're working in this massive fucking.
They're working like the banks, kind of.
No, they're working in a massive skyscraper. There's all these different lines in the film that's like it's hard to like remember them all, but like they all like hint towards things, like little themes, little like she says to him at one point like I should have stuck with the bank, like it pays more money, and he's like, oh no, there's like more room for expansion here, like this is like a center of innovation or whatever, and like he sits down at his desk and he's like an illustrator, and like there's like a TV phone, and the boss comes down and like puts his plant that he put on his desk into the bin. It's like, oh, there's only conformity here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's really heavy-handed, but like in a really obvious and intentional way.
Yeah.
Like it's doing it on purpose. There's a scene in the film where the film breaks down, and the celluloid melts, and the film stops for about 5 minutes, and it returns to like a theater that is watching Gremlins 2, and
what?
Everyone's like, oh, boo, boo, and the theater concession guy, he comes down and he taps some guy on the shoulder. He's like, sir, could you please sort out the Gremlins in the rolling booth? And Hulk Hogan fucking stands up and starts shouting at the Gremlins who have stopped the film from rolling. And he's like, the people want to enjoy the fucking Gremlins. He doesn't say fucking, but he's like, Gremlins 2. He's like, I suggest you sit down and play the movie. And then he looks directly into the camera. He's like, sorry about that, folks. And the movie like keeps playing. It's really funny. It's a really funny.
That's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Because the whole reason that all this like weird stuff is included is because the original guy who directed it, Joe Dante, he directed Gremlins 1. They really wanted him back for this one for whatever reason, and they're like, we'll give you whatever you want. And he's just like, nah, like I don't want to do it. Like I didn't believe in sequels or whatever, or like rehashing old ground. But then eventually he agreed to it on the condition that he could do pretty much whatever he wanted, which is obviously a very rare thing.
And he just ends the fucking series.
Yeah, and he just completely took the piss out of everything about Gremlins 1, and like even the whole concept of having a sequel, and like the studio system, and like New York and like America at the time as well. You know, like the villain. The villain isn't really a villain. He's like the owner of this place called Clamp Tower, which is just a substitute for Trump Tower in New York. And he's like a Donald Trump character, but he's like enthusiastically like innocent. Like he's really innocent, and like you like him at the end of the movie, but like he's just a dope, you know. He's just an absolute dope. And like the Gremlins take over and stuff like that. And he actually got Rick Baker, who did the like really famous makeup artist or whatever in Hollywood. He did American Werewolf in London and stuff like that. He got him on to do all the Gremlins and all the puppetry and stuff like that. And he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to do something that someone else had already designed. He didn't want to just sort of do the puppetry without designing them.
So like, listen, man, we want a really sexy Gremlin.
Yeah, no, he was like, Rick, do whatever you want. Like, make new Gremlins, make variations on the old Gremlins. Like, none of them look like the ones from even Gizmo looks different. And then there's the sexy Gremlin, and there's the there's like a dumb Gremlin, and there's a smart Gremlin that talks. Do you remember that one?
No.
All right, so there's a TV studio within Clamp Tower as well, and there's this guy who dresses up as Dracula, and he goes on TV at like late at night, and he presents TV shows. And Billy's always talking to this guy, and he's like, I wanted to be a newscaster. Like, this isn't what showbiz is all about. Like, I'm depressed and stuff like that. And then the Gremlins get out, and the Gremlins take over Clamp Tower, and this guy's the only one left inside because everyone else is evacuated. And all the news people are outside, like, oh, what's going on there? And he sees his moment
to be a news presenter.
And he gets this Chinese guy who's been going around the building, like the stereotype where like Chinese people just take photos and stuff.
Yeah,
like I didn't know why that was in it for the first half hour, but then I was like, he's useful.
Yeah.
So he gets this Chinese guy to film him doing a newscast live from within Clamp Tower with the Gremlins. At this stage, they've broken into the Gremlins have broken into like a genetics lab, which is run by Christopher Lee.
What is this film? I need to watch this film straight away.
It's run by Christopher Lee, and what
is this building with fucking?
There's so many layers, but there's when the Gremlins first like break in and they start drinking potions and stuff, or it's like concoctions that they made.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And there's like a little cue, like the fucking Dracula music, the fugue or whatever, and it's just Christopher Lee's face, and he's like, I've seen this before. Sometimes they drink blood and stuff like that. It's just like straight to the Dracula references. But then, so the guy who dresses up as Dracula starts a live newscast with one of the Gremlins, who's now become the leader because he drank an intelligence potion, and so now he wears glasses and a lab coat.
I remember him,
and he talks really eloquently.
I remember what he looked like anyway.
Yeah, and he's basically making a case for Gremlins to be included in civil society with the vote and like healthcare and benefits and stuff like that, and saying that they're not domesticated enough, and that they're working towards integration with the wider world and stuff like that.
What a strange movie!
It's so weird. It's absolutely bizarre, but it's very very good.
This sounds better than the Gremlins one. Honestly, from what you're saying.
Yeah, it's there's also a point, like, you know, the way in the first one they have the whole sort of thing with TV, like the Chinese guy comes in. The Chinese guy dies at the start of this film, which is why
Gizmo gets out. Yeah,
because the Clamp executives came in to the Chinese guy, and they're like, we need you to fucking sell us your gaff because we want to build a development on it. So the real estate, that's like the whole connection to Trump. But in the first one, the Chinese guy comes in at the end. He's like, oh, you only teach him to watch TV or whatever. And in this one, at the start, when the executives first come into the Chinese guy's
shop,
little domain, his little shop, Gizmo's just watching Rambo on TV. He's just like like behind his cage, and it comes into it later when Gizmo's like kidnapped, like held hostage by the Gremlins, and
turns into Rambo.
Yeah, he snaps and turns into Rambo and like wears a bandana and stuff.
I remember Gizmo wearing the bandana. Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous because it's just like completely like out of character.
Yeah,
and there's no tone in this film at all. You know the way the first one is sort of
Christmassy, and then there's just a jarring shift.
It like circles around different tones. Like this one's just a complete piss take. Like there's no tonal center at all. Like like Gizmo just turns into Rambo and starts killing Gremlins, and then like just everything about it. Like it's a lot funnier.
I remember because like especially in Gremlins 1, it kind of sounds like they did a weird like inversion of of that thing where like, because in the first one, Gizmo is watching like It's a Wonderful Life, like old 1940s, 50s American films or whatever, and but it sounds like in this one like he's watching action films now, so now he's like macho or whatever, but it's like it feels like maybe it's still like a recurring theme kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Especially because like in the first one where like it was intercut with like him driving to save Billy, and it was like him it was cut with like him remembering the films and like thinking about like, oh, this is what I look like or whatever. I don't know. It like feels like in this one that like it's the same thing. It's like times have changed. Now you're gonna be a fucking action hero, Gizmo, little Gizmo.
Yeah, the little cutie.
There's one thing I didn't you know that you're talking about like the technology thing. I only thought about the other day the fact that Gizmo's name is he's a gizmo.
Yeah,
he's literally technology.
I actually never got that. Yeah. But there's also a bit in it where they reference like old films as well. Like there's like an ad. There's ads that show for like on the Clamp network and saying like, "Oh, don't miss the new Casablanca in full color and with a happier ending and stuff." Like there's just like little lines thrown in there that just like hint towards this like it's sort of like almost like very real kind of like dystopia where everything's just
remade.
Yeah, everything's remade and everything has a sequel. Everything's constantly being redone.
Nothing new.
Constantly optimized.
Yeah. Does the Lion King remake show up in this film?
No, but Gremlins 1 does. Gremlins 1 is in this film. There's a scene. It's within the TV studio in Clamp Tower, and there's a TV critic called Leonard something. He's a real guy. He's a real critic who hated Gremlins 1, and he's in the film and he's saying, oh, like this isn't worth the celluloid it's printed on.
Yeah.
And then he gets hot by Gremlins, and the Gremlins like hold him down and make him say, oh, Gremlins is amazing, like 10 out of 10. You know, he changes it like live on air, and then it just cuts. Like it's a real critic, and they got him on. They're like, we'll pay you whatever, just to
have this funny bit
to be in this scene, in the sequel. It's really a subversive film.
It'd be gas if he afterwards he's like, Gremlins 2 is a perfect film.
Yeah, Gremlins 2 is actually shite. He's actually in it, like.
That's so funny. That sounds really, really good though. It sounds really weird.
It's well worth a watch.
Because Gremlins 1 is weird as well, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's like it's way more like conventional and family friendly and stuff. Stuff you don't want, you know.
I don't want a family.
Also, Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
he's like the secretary for like Christopher Lee's like genetics lab.
That's weird.
Yeah, I just know. I was like, I know that guy.
Yeah,
it actually is. It's Tuco.
Tuco.
I can't remember his name, but
Tuco. He had a rough ending in Breaking Bad, but you know what? He's all right.
He's all right. He's grand. So yeah, I watched that. It was amazing.
Sounds good. I'll definitely have to hop on that buzz. What have I been watching? I watched Shrek the Musical. Woo! As did you, I believe.
Absolutely.
At this stage, 6th installment, I guess, of the Shrek. Oh no, this is our
fifth.
This is our 5th film or
fifth
thing, but the 6th piece of like whatever of Shrek. God, the Shrek franchise. It really just kept going. It really, really just kept going. It's insane.
It keeps running, and the dips, the hills and valleys, they're just unpredictable.
It really is, yeah. Shrek the Musical. I think it came out 2000 and...
I think it's 2010.
Yeah, 2010 or 11 or 12, somewhere around that time. The second most expensive musical ever made, which, when you see this thing, makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
The set pieces.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
My
like
goodness.
The amount of money that went into this fucking thing is ridiculous. Like the costumes, the way that the set is. To be fair, I think the only way that this could have been like in any way half as good as it turned out to be was if they just fucking threw money at this thing. Like there's no way that you could just do this without it just being super expensive and being like really extravagant and stuff like that. But it's good. I enjoyed Shrek the Musical. I've enjoyed it very much. What did you think about it?
Yeah, man, I went into this zero expectations.
Yeah.
I don't like musicals. I don't really watch them though, to be fair. I went to this, it's on Netflix, American Netflix, and I watched it, and honestly, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was like, I don't know, because I usually don't like musicals. I can never sit through them fully. But this one...
Well, this one's Shrek, Mark.
This is Shrek, the musical. So it's a different thing. It's a different ball game here. And I just liked every part of it. Well, not every part of it, but my expectations were so low that like I just came out of it like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I like, because when I saw this, it was like 2 hours long. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, the fucking original film, it's like just over an hour. What the fuck are they going to throw in? And like, obviously, like, you know, the songs, and it goes on for ages, whatever, and this dance sequences, whatever. But the bits they did add in, I liked. I fucking love Farquaad in this.
Farquaad's so good. I
He
felt,
is
I
so
felt
good.
so bad for the actor though,
Yeah.
because he's on his knees the entire time. He's running around, like he's not.
He's literally running around on his knees.
Yeah, he's on his knees because Farquaad is small, obviously, but he's not like
He's got
just.
these fake legs.
He's got these little fake legs that stick out, and like it's funny when you first see it, but then like you realize like he's not just standing there or like sitting there, like maybe with like a little knee rest.
Yeah.
Like he has to move around the stage, and he's actively walking around the set, and you're like, how is this guy doing it? You know, I was like, what?
Fuck me. And
you
he's a big fucking dude as well.
He's a big guy, yeah.
Because like there's a bit where like he's in the bath and you just realize, holy shit, this dude is fucking massive. Because obviously they couldn't have just like a like regularly sized dude to play Farquaad, because he needs to be big so that you can actually fucking see him on stage. So this dude is fucking huge, and you really notice it when he's in the bath, and he's got his weird little fucking feet sticking out.
Yeah. They should have just got a small fella.
I think there's too many small jokes to have like someone with dwarfism and like take the piss of the fact that he's small. I don't think they could do that.
They're just being sensitive, maybe.
It really would. Like,
yeah, there actually are. There are more small jokes in this one than there are in the actual film.
There's a lot. I saw a video about like why. Right, so you know the way in Shrek 4 we were like, why the fuck do all the ogres come back like and just hang around with Shrek, right?
Mm.
And I watched a video about this, and I didn't know that Shrek the Musical did this, but I watched a video about it. It was only a 4-minute long video, like kind of explaining why. But like this Shrek the Musical kind of justifies the reason for there being no ogres up until Shrek 4, because Shrek is 7 years old, and his parents are like, listen kid, you're going out on your own and no one fucking likes you and you're gonna have to stay by yourself. So ogres naturally just stay away from everyone.
Yeah. I sort of liked and hated that part, like the whole giving Shrek a backstory, but it does add to the Shrek lore.
Yeah.
Like it does make sense. Like, why doesn't he have any mates? And why doesn't he have any ogre mates?
That's why, because they just stay away from each other.
He was abandoned at 7. You
and
know?
the fact as well, like you know, his parents are like, no one's gonna like you. We don't like you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Shrek gets just like done in. Like, you know that part, like what's it called? I'll have you beat the song.
I have you beat, yeah.
Have you beat.
And they're just like,
they're like trying to outcompete who has the worst childhood.
yeah, who has the most trauma.
But like Fiona is just like, oh, I was in a room for like, you know, a few years. Like 10 years,
to
whatever.
be fair, I prefer to be Shrek in that situation, because I can imagine being locked in a fucking tower, having nothing to do. Man, I need films or something, you know.
Yeah, but she had a few things. Shrek was abandoned at 7 and left to the wolves, you know. And the guy's nothing. He's not being brought off to marry to like a queen or whatever.
To be fair,
he's just a fucking.
I'd love to live in Shrek Swamp. That place looks
that looks comfy.
It looks comfy.
He had to work.
He had to work.
He had to grind for that swamp, man. You had to find that, you know. But yeah, I liked it in a way. But when I first saw it, I was like, this is poxy, like, because it's at the very, very start, and I was like, oh, this is going in a bad direction. But it makes sense at the end.
Yeah,
you know?
And things happen way more quickly at the start as well, because like I'm pretty sure the second scene is like, right, magical creatures, here's your refugee camp in the swamp. You're staying here. Now fuck off.
Yeah, and then he's just like, okay, I'll go and save you all or whatever.
There's way more Farquaad in this, and I enjoy that there's way more Farquaad.
Yeah, the guy who does Farquaad's hilarious.
He's so good.
And like the guy who does Donkey.
He's amazing.
He's so good.
He's so fucking good.
He's like the star of the show for me. He was just like, he's so bright and he's so like energetic.
Yeah, and his hooves, he was so funny.
Yeah,
the
hooves are great. Like, they're so funny.
They're so good. And even the way like he kept them tucked up like this kind of.
Yeah. Even his like expressions, the way he did that, you know.
His faces at like certain things is so good.
Are hilarious.
I've
never enjoyed a musical so much, honestly.
I think you should watch. I think you should watch Hamilton, right? Because because I knew that like Hamilton was like shot really well for a musical. But going back and watching this, holy shit, Hamilton deserves an award for how well it's shot compared to like other musicals are shot this way. This thing is shot like shit.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, it's bad.
There is a part There's like certain parts that don't make sense.
It's the bit where
shot
they're fleeing the castle. I literally couldn't tell what was happening because it just keeps cutting and like changing perspectives or whatever, or changing angles or whatever. And it's really dark as well. It's like Hamilton is like shot in a way that lit, sorry, I should say, that you can really see what's going on. In this, it's not really. It's like the lighting in it didn't really translate well to film. But I'm sure like on the stage it's fine.
Yeah, I say so. But like
my mom gave out to me, she said you can't critique this like a film. You have to critique it like a musical, which is fair.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference, I suppose. But like I didn't hold it to like massive standards in terms of how it was shot. But there were parts where I was like, there's one shot, I can't remember when it was, but like the whole whoever was talking, I didn't know who was talking, or like I could only tell by the voice. Like there's just like the camera was blocked, which doesn't make any sense because they made the Netflix release out of like 50 fucking shows. Like it wasn't just one show. Like they like edited it together from different places and like different performances. And there's one part like when he finds out that Fiona is an ogre or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in the film, you don't see that Fiona as the ogre. Like you just see Shrek listening to the door.
Yeah, yeah.
And like this, you see like everything basically, which I didn't like. That was one thing I was like, I don't. It's like it doesn't work as well. Yeah.
I didn't like Shrek's talking voice though. The guy that played Shrek is alright. First, sorry, we should mention as well, the costumes, the makeup, all amazing.
On point.
Amazing. But Shrek's talking voice,
it's just American.
It's a weird voice. It's like trying to be regular Shrek, but not really.
He just goes "arr" on the oars. Like everything else, I thought he was just doing it like a straight American accent at the start.
Yeah,
but then,
same.
Then he tries to use like Shrek and all this stuff. You know, it's like it's not really Scottish, is it? You know, this is an American accent with a few oars in it.
Yeah, his voice was. I didn't enjoy his voice. His talking voice. Singing voice though.
Singing was
great.
Very good.
Great.
Very good.
And that song, I Would Be, fantastic song. That's the song of the musical for me. That's the best one.
With Donkey.
Yeah, when he's just like, I'd write, I'd be a poet, I'd do, like whatever. It's a good song. Other good songs. Farquaad has a couple of good tunes as well. Fiona's song when she's in the tower is very good.
That's
and
very good.
Different
With the 3 different Fionas.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I like the way as well, like they mentioned, like Fiona every single day wakes up and she's like, okay, today's the day that I'm going to get saved. But she's been doing that for fucking years.
Yeah, for like 1,000 days.
Because like or
10,000 days.
It's the only way that she could keep hope is just saying to herself, right, today's the day I'm going to get saved.
It's done very well.
It's really fucked up. It's really sad.
It's a bit sad, yeah. But I like the little rotating Fionas as well. That was really nice. That was a nice touch.
I really like the tap dancing mice or rats or whatever.
Oh yeah, the rats. That
was bizarre.
Yeah, I think I skipped that part.
Oh no, I didn't like. I didn't like when they turned into like actual people dancing, but like it's really like the curtain like rises just to people's like shoes, and the shoes are mice tap dancing because she's playing the pipe or whatever.
Oh, you know what I liked? I liked the part where Shrek is trying to confess his love to Fiona. And Donkey gets the 3 blind mice out.
Yeah, that song was really good as well.
Yeah, it's really good. And like,
I know you can't hear me, Shrek.
yeah, he's like right beside him, like right behind him. Was like, make a move, you know. It's like it's almost better than the way it was done in the film. Obviously, you couldn't do that in the film. But, it was really good.
I think that the way that like Shrek and Fiona bond in this makes way more sense than in the film though, because like. You realize that the first like moment that they start to like each other is like because they're bonding over like their fucked up childhood, and they're like, oh, we're not that different.
Yeah.
And then they have a farting and burping contest, which was fucking awful. I hated that.
It was so bad.
It just ruined it.
Like, it ruined the whole musical.
It ruined the whole moment. Like it's like, oh, they're bonding because like they're like because they over their trauma or whatever, and then they just fart and burp, and it's like, oh, fuck off.
Shrek is like. He's like, ooh. And then Fiona, she's like...
And it goes on for fucking ages as well.
It's like a panto. It's usually like a panto. Oh, it's so cringeworthy. But like, that's kids. You know, it's a kids musical.
It is a kids musical, to be fair.
But like, that was just ridiculous, you know?
Watching this made me realize American audiences, they're just weird. They were laughing at all different. Like none of the jokes really were that funny, but they were pacing themselves laughing for like the jokes that came from the film. And I was like, why are you laughing at that? That's straight out of the film.
Nah, but
No, shut up.
shut up.
Shut up,
Silence.
America.
Full silence.
I love the bit like where Farquaad like made the audience laugh, whatever, and just go like
yeah,
throw his
yeah,
hands
yeah.
like silence, and everyone be quiet.
Yeah, that's such a good opportunity to like mix in with the film.
Oh yeah, Puss in Boots shows up in this as well
Yeah, he's in it
for a
minute.
brief second. He's a weird puppet dance in the background.
Yeah.
I do like it. I like it as well that like it does like build on the themes of Shrek. That like Shrek does actually want to be someone else. He doesn't actually want to be an ogre really. He just wants to like that bit where like it's from the film as well. It's like I don't have a problem with the world. The world has a problem with me. Like I never fucking did anything. Everyone was just scared of me. Also, actually, did you notice that like Fiona's actually in the start of it, like when he's a kid. So there's a bit where he's like walking around as a kid or whatever, and everyone's running away and screaming whatever. But there's a bit where a king and a queen go across, and they're pulling along a girl in a green dress, and the girl in the green dress waves at Shrek, and he waves back at her, and that's the only person that like waves at him, whatever, and it turns out to be Fiona.
That's a really nice touch.
It's a really good touch,
yeah,
isn't it?
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nice little tidbits to like add to the Shrek lore in this in a really cool way.
The Shrek lore.
The Shrek lore.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Shrek lore last week in terms of like the continuity of like the ogre babies, but
what a sentence! What a sentence! Oh god. This one I feel this is really a Shrek themed podcast right now.
When we talk about the lore and the continuity, it's key.
That's great.
What are bits that you didn't like about this?
I didn't like the start, obviously, with the when they were trying to give Shrek like a backstory.
Yeah,
I didn't like the Lord Farquaad numbers, like the songs and stuff. I sort of skipped them.
Yeah, fair. He's one, I think,
because they're not really important to the plot.
He's got one about Duloc where he has like the little Dulokians out with him dancing. That was a good one.
I watched that actually. Other than that, I don't think the ending. There's a part at the end where they have like a reprise and they sing "I'm a Believer." I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
that was mad hype. It was like the actual film. But like the actual like end of the third act, I don't know. I don't think it works.
Very weak.
I don't think it works.
And I don't like the dragon in this.
The dragon's terrible, but you can't really. I don't know. There had to be because if you have a budget,
it's impressive though.
If you have a budget 25 mil, like surely there's a better way to represent the dragon, or more because I was thinking even the rickety bridge actually I didn't like that part as well because it's just a stationary bridge, and it's like that must have looked even worse from the audience point of view.
Yeah, it definitely would have. Yeah,
like they should have just had a rickety bridge, fuck the fucking claims or whatever, the insurance.
Yeah,
just have a fucking little swing, That was a bit stupid, but I don't know. What do you think? Like,
I didn't like Gingy. I didn't like how big Gingy was. Gingy was like a halfway point between regular Gingy and Mongo, who's fucking massive. And to be fair, like obviously needs to be massive. But the girl that was playing Gingy didn't even try to mask the fact that she was like she was the voice of
She's
Gingy. Just
singing at the. She's like puppeteering Gingy with her right hand, and then just singing at the crowd, pretending to be voicing Gingy. Yeah.
And the way that it's shot is like trying to focus only on Gingy, but you can see her holding him and just like singing along. I'm sure there's a better way of doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
There has to be a better way of doing that. What else did I not like? The dragon I didn't like. I thought Fiona's a bit annoying. They kind of just changed her character in a way that I didn't like. She's real weird and stupid. I didn't really enjoy that. I thought the Act 2 was actually really boring. I thought Act 2, because it ends...
What's the demarcation like, Act 2 and stuff?
Act 2 starts with like Fiona waking up. Like it's after the moons, like when Donkey and... Like in the film, it's when Donkey and Shrek are sitting by the moon and they're chatting or whatever.
Yeah.
But like Act 1 ends there. And then there's just a lot of filler in Act 2 because you need to stretch like 25 minutes of the film across an hour.
Yeah.
And you have like loads of scenes that aren't like in it really.
They shouldn't be 2 hours. It shouldn't be longer than the first film.
I think it should have been less than 2 hours. It should have been like an hour.
Yeah, it should have been
40 minutes.
Yeah,
but it's
like
really
that.
short for a musical, but still.
Is it? What's the standard time for musical?
2 hours.
Is it?
An hour each act is normal.
There's no point getting fucking 2 hours and 15 in. Like do 2 hours max, like 150,
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of filler in this. I actually liked Fiona. I liked Fiona.
She's
I
good.
thought
I
she
just
was
thought like
good.
the character change I didn't enjoy.
She's more like forceful. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like she's less of a like she's like a real like pretty princess at the start of the first one, and then this one she's just like straight away she's like being mad. I don't know how to describe it, like masculine or whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like a bossy or whatever. She's like the girl boss
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
away in this. I didn't mind that. I think it makes more sense because there's a massive like in the first one there's a massive switch at that outbreak that you're talking about where she just completely changes.
Completely changes.
For
Yeah.
no obvious reason besides the fact that we discover that she's an ogre, but she already knows she's an ogre, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's like straight away you're like, oh, she's got a little bit of bite about her, you know. She's a bit out of the box, you know.
It's a bit weird.
She's a bit of a weirdo, yeah. So I like that. I didn't like it. I was like, I didn't mind it,
Yeah.
and it made more sense than the film in my opinion. So I think it worked.
Fair.
I think it worked.
What would you rate this?
I'd rate it 3.5 disembodied dragon heads out of 5.
Dragon heads were off. My God. Oh God. I don't like the way there was 3 of them singing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to rate this. I think I'm like it's a 3 or a 4. I think I'm gonna give it a 3 as well. Most things in Shrek, I love Shrek, but I think most things in Shrek are 3s. I'm gonna give it 3 weird Farquaad feet out of 5. God, those feet were so distracting. I literally have no idea what he was thinking about because I was just looking at his feet the entire fucking time.
Farquaad's feet, yeah.
Oh
That's definitely
God,
a thing.
so weird.
That's definitely a thing.
I like the way though there's like the bits where like it's like Farquaad's dad. Also, I think there's like a recurring theme in this musical about parents abandoning their kids because Shrek was abandoned, Fiona's abandoned, and Farquaad, as we find out, was also abandoned, and his dad was one of the 7 dwarves.
Hi ho.
Hi ho.
Hi ho.
I didn't cop that at first because I was because I was like because I was kind of on my phone or whatever,
Yeah.
and he said mention hi ho, and my mom went, oh that's good, and I was like, well, and I listened, it's like hi ho, I was like, Snow White, I get it.
See the whole father thing, the whole parental relationship ties back into William Steig, the original writer of Shrek.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, who's friends with Wilhelm Reich, who was a student of Freud.
Makes
So
sense.
he was in with all those fucking mad German fellas who are, you know, Freudians, like trying to like figure out like the id and the ego and stuff like that. You know, like he knew all about that sort of father figure, like those parental complexes. You know, the Oedipus complex and stuff like that. You know? That's what Shrek is all about when you boil it down to it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
At the end,
yeah, especially like when
it's all about issues.
especially when you consider the fact that like this explains like Shrek's real lonely a lot because of how his parents treated him. Fiona's all different kind of fuck up because of how her parents treated her, and then Shrek's terrified about being a father because in case he continues on that trauma that his parents have set on him.
And even in this one, Farquaad is sort of
He's kind of a spoiled brat because his dad did that to him as well.
well, he had to work his way up, you know,
Yeah.
because his dad was just a simple miner, you know, working in the mines. But like, there's also the figure of the father or the parent abandoning the child. It's more obvious in this almost.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because all 3 of them say that.
Yeah, all the 3 main characters have some sort of parent issue. That's like a really like weird reading of it, but like it has to be done.
It has to be done because it is there. There is definitely a reading
It definitely
about.
is there, yeah.
Yeah, because like even like Farquaad, there's like I think in the Farquaad song with Duloc whatever, like they mention the fact that like he's way more of a dictator in this because they mention the fact like, oh, if you don't do what he says, he kills you, like
Yeah.
which is like his aggression and like whatever from
and the fact that it's sort of highlighted that Farquaad is like a halfling.
Yeah,
Like he's half fairy tale
yeah.
creature and
He's-
half human.
he's like, yeah, actually I didn't even think
He's like
about that.
he's more of a Hitler character in
Yeah,
this.
he like hates the fact that he's a fairy tale character. It's like a self-hatred thing within him, which is caused by his parents,
Yeah.
and he genocides fairy tale creatures because of it.
Like in the first one, it's not really explained. Like he's just a guy.
He's just a
short.
small dude.
He's just a small guy, and he just hates fairy tale creatures. And this one is like he has an issue with his dad who abandoned him, and that's why he hates fairy tale creatures, and that's why he sends them all to the swamp and incites the action in the first place.
Which makes way more sense.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah.
This adds a lot to the Shrek lore. This is actually key to understanding the Shrek lore.
The Shrek lore.
Shrek Musical is like key.
It actually is. Like I'm glad that you made me watch this.
Yes, I'm
Like
glad I
this-
watched it as well.
Like I would have never watched this without you telling me. Like this is just like I'd never heard of it, and it's actually like you have to get a VPN to watch it anyway on Netflix. So
That's worth it.
it's worth it. Like I
The
enjoyed
songs are
it.
good.
I enjoyed this more than Shrek 3, Shrek 4, Shrek the Halls, whatever other Shrek.
Any of the shorts.
Anything except for the first
This
two.
is the third best Shrek thing.
It actually is the third best Shrek production. By far.
You know what? You know what? Fuck it. This is 4 weird baby Farquaad feet out of 5. I'm gonna bump it up because I enjoy it more than all the rest of them.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I know I said last time that you didn't have to compare like each one to like I didn't like you were gonna give Far Away a 5 I think, and I was like, oh really? And then you bumped it down to a 4. Didn't, because I was like, oh, I don't have to compare it to everything else. I'm comparing this to everything else. I'm doing the complete opposite of what I said to do last week. And for it gets a 4.
What do we rate the first two?
Shrek 1 was a 4, and Shrek 2 was obviously a 5.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is a.
Yeah,
I think this is a 4. I think this is.
I think this. I'm gonna stick with the 3.5, but there's definitely it's more of a. It's like a. It's not a light 3.5. It's like a
It's closer to a 4 than it
closer
is
to
a
a
3.
4. Closer to a 4, definitely. 3.75.
3.7778. Yeah. No, it's good though. It's good. I actually do recommend that people check it out.
Definitely, yeah. It's
The
quite
second
good.
act is a bit slow, but
Yeah, just watch it on 1.25.
yeah,
Speed.
just watch the second act at 1.25.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song
Favorite song?
besides the last one?
Yeah, obviously that's the best one, but I think was it I Have You Beat? I like that.
I have you.
I like it because it like sort of ties into the Shrek lore.
Yeah, same. My favorite songs are the one that was I Would Be, because it expands again. It ties into Shrek lore or whatever. Like the fact that the best songs tie into the Shrek lore, the deep Shrek lore.
Yeah, it's like the deep lore. It's like I didn't know this about Shrek.
Like I didn't expect us to like when we were starting this fucking series, I didn't think that we would like be delving into like what Shrek means as much.
Yeah, what does he mean? That's what it's all about. You
Yeah.
know, you have to go as deep into those fucking sweaty green cheeks as you can. Figure it out.
Shit.
It's Freudian.
Oh god, there's ogres really do have layers. There is layers. Oh god, there's layers to them cheeks. Oh god, do you want to take a break and then
yeah, let's go for a break.
We're just talking there, Mark, about like, all right, so for the listeners at home, we have on my TV up above us, we have one of those like Netflix fireplace yokes going on, and it has the same effect, I feel like, of like actually having a fire in the room. Like the room feels way more cozy because of it.
Yeah, something about it.
We're only doing it because it's Christmas, and I noticed last week that it actually added to the vibes in the room very nicely.
Great vibes in here.
But it does have the same effect where like you kind of stare into the fire and has this like weird hypnotic effect. Now, gonna preface this when we start talking about this. This is very Joe Rogan-y shit.
Content warning.
Content warning. You know, all the things that come with Joe Rogan. Content warning. But
Transphobia warning. It's about to happen.
yeah. Oh god. But one of the things that like I always enjoy, like when Joe Rogan, I don't listen to him that much, but like the odd times I do, I only listen to when he's talking to Duncan Trussell. Nice save for myself. Good save. But
I don't often attend Nazi rallies, but when I do,
you know, I like to listen. But
he's a great speaker.
He's a great speaker. He's so in the middle about everything, and it's so agreeable.
Yeah.
But it's like when they talk about like the kind of stoned ape kind of the theory.
Terrence McKenna's theory.
Which I have the book over there, but I need to get into that eventually. But you know the thing of like staring into a fire and you get that kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know that thing where like you just stare at a fire and you kind of like zone out because of it.
Yeah. You feel you get lost in the flames. I know. Sure, you didn't do TY, but when we did TY, complete waste of time. But there was like 2 or 3 modules that sort of were cool. We did one on yoga. We did yoga every afternoon on like a Thursday or something. We do a double class of yoga. It's about like, I think it was an hour and a half. And so we go down to the library, and our library is very small. I would just like lie down on the floor, and like you'd be like that far away from the next person on the floor, and you like lie like that for a while and like visualize things. visualize basically like a mental palace and like walk around and stuff like that. And this guy Cormac was our guide, and he'd tell us where to go. And then there was one of the classes where he just lit a candle, and we all sat around the circle and stared at the flame. It was really weird because it was an hour and a half class, obviously. So
Yeah.
I think we stared at it for like half an hour, and like after that, like obviously it burns your eyes a bit. Like you get like the sunspots and stuff. But like a lot of people had experience. I didn't get it, but a lot of people like had experiences where they started hallucinating things in the middle of the fire.
Yeah.
And so obviously there is some sort of
hypnotic effect.
There is some sort of weird effect to it, yeah. Like something does happen if you just like most people these days don't have the time to sit around and stare at a fire for half an hour, you know.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
so,
yeah.
You know, probably in the past, and like if you
get it when
if you have
camping.
the time today, if you have the time today, if you just stare at a fire, it's like weird things happen.
Weird things do happen.
You start thinking about things, you know. I don't know what it is.
Now this is coming from Joe Rogan podcast, so I don't know, but
we don't have to preface everything.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan from the horse's mouth, I've heard.
UFC.
That it has to do with, and it makes a lot of sense that, like, you know, when humans were around, or whatever, if you had fire, you were safe, and like looking at a fire still ignites that within us. That like you feel like a sense of comfort, sense of warmth from staring into the fire. But there's also, you would stare at the fire and you would meditate, because the fire is weirdly hypnotic, and you start to think about things in a way that you didn't think about things before. And it's often seen as, like, you know, when we discovered fire, it was the like catapult into us like discovering other fucking technological advances or whatever. And it has to do with like just like the idea is that like it came from just staring at a fire and just kind of like chilling out, looking at a fire and just thinking about things, thinking about how like, I wonder if that would work if I got a rock and I started like chipping away at the edge of it. I made it sharper. What could I do with something like that?
Yeah, fucking wreck some cunt, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I could go over there, I could butcher that fella for taking my fucking meat or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably some lad who's like fucking raging. And he just like stares into the fire, mad angry. And he's like, oh, wait.
I could use this to burn down a village.
Yeah. Like, ever think, you know the way you see videos, or I don't know if Sam does it, like, you know the way dogs sometimes stare at TVs?
Yeah.
Do you think like ever like 10,000 years from now, dogs,
it's like
dogs have the same thing?
The same thing, like the fire for us was the TV for the dog.
The dog philosopher would be like, when we first looked at TVs,
then we knew. The dog Rogan's just there.
Dog Rogan.
He's there smoking a joint. He's like, man, the TV, you know.
That's when we knew we could overthrow the humans.
Yeah.
Dog Rogan. He's just bald, small. It's like a chihuahua. Yeah. Just a bald chihuahua.
I think more of a pug or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, who knows? You know, dogs will inherit the earth.
You see that thing that monkeys are in the Stone Age now?
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah,
I don't like it.
They have stones and stuff. I saw something about, there's this video, I don't know if I showed you, there's like this video I came across where there's like this incident. It's from like a news channel in Africa, like a few, like 90s, I think. And it's about monkeys who raided like a camp or something like that. And they only took the weapons, like the swords and stuff.
Oh.
And the machetes. And now they're never found.
Yeah.
They're just somewhere in the jungle with machetes, you know? They just assume that they know how to use them because they only took the machetes.
Oh, I don't like that.
So it's like, well, they have to be in the Stone Age, you know? Or they obviously know how to use tools. So.
Oh, I remember fucking biology telling us about like the fucking...
He said a lot of things.
He said a lot of things. He's a bit of a Joe Rogan character himself. But like,
yeah, Bob Rogan.
But like, but I remember him telling us about like the like monkey hit squads that would go out. Did you ever hear about that?
What?
Like,
it sounds like some fucking a monkey hit squad.
Yeah.
Where?
Like there's like a documentary apparently, and I think it's a David Attenborough, and I think it is a genuine thing where, apparently, like I can't remember, but I think it's like there'd be two like tribes of monkeys that would be like fighting or whatever.
Oh, the chimp war.
Yeah, and the chimps would send out like a squad basically to go out and like
just butcher
butcher one of them that were like just like lure him away from the tribe or whatever and just massacre him. And they do this like constantly. That they had like Michael Collins would go out as a fucking chimp and would just fucking get one of the fucking
Monkey Collins.
Monkey Collins going out and just fucking sorting out with the squad.
Yeah, no, I think that was definitely a thing. Or the first chimp war was like in the 60s with Jane Goodall, like your one, the chimp.
Yeah,
woman.
yeah.
And she was like, they were just observing these chimps from like an observatory up in the hills, and they noticed that there's originally one big group, and then they split into two groups. There was like one smaller group. It was pretty small. It was like, I think it was 6 versus like 11 or something like that. But so they used to be all one family, but then the bigger group was like, oh, these guys are like traders or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they went out and like systematically destroyed and killed every member of the other tribe.
So fucked up.
And took their women. Like they went like, she was describing, one of the things I read about, like she was describing how one of the chimps who was the son and like the mentee of one of the elder chimps in the breakaway tribe went in and like personally like ate and like tortured like the elder chimp in this other tribe, just to like for no reason. Like there's no reason to do that as a chimp unless
you have a connection, you feel betrayed.
Yeah, like he obviously had an emotional thing to do that. Like he did that purposely to send a message and to like emotionally scar and like to like inflict pain on this other chimp.
Yeah,
you know, and they're like they'd never seen it before because they always had this idea of like the noble savage, like chimps just sort of like do their own thing. But like when this happened, they're like,
chimps are like us.
Yeah, chimps go to war. You know, like chimps, you know, torture and kill and maim for no reason. Jane Goodall was like, whoa.
Yeah, it is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
especially when you see like, do you see the fucking because like I remember seeing like on Twitter the like the monkey. This is such a fucking Rogan conversation. But so do you see that guy that got hit by the moose? But like that fucking that
I actually didn't. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, the monkey that like was like seeing and it's only a small monkey. It's not even like a chimp or anything. But like it was picking up a big rock and smashing a smaller rock to splinter the smaller rock, and then picking up the smaller pieces and using that as tools. Like they were using it for like cutting things or cutting meat or whatever. I don't want fucking monkeys knowing how to do that shit.
Yeah. That's like a 2001 moment, you know?
It is.
With the fucking obelisk. Like, the monkeys are sitting there with a fucking observatory point, and they're doing that whole thing. We're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And it changes their way of thinking.
Which, actually, did you see the obelisks that were going around?
Yeah, in the deserts in America. Yeah. Oh, then they disappeared.
I just think it's like Elon Musk or something like that, just fucking around.
Yeah, it's definitely an art project.
Yeah.
You see the one where it's like a mysterious metal obelisk found on O'Connell Street.
And it's just a spire.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, whoa. Bow down. Who put this here? Just Birdie Ahern.
Birdie Ahern's just there like he's like the baby at the end of like fucking 2001 just staring down at us.
The birdie baby sipping on a pint of ass. Yeah. The bailouts. What about it? But
enough about threatening politicians.
Enough about incriminating ourselves. Yes.
Not to delete all of that. But yeah, no, it is cool. Like the hypnotic, and it's also strangely enough tying into like what you're talking about, the dog looking at the TV, being hypnotized by the TV. I watched They Live this week.
Oh,
They Live having a strange connection to that about like hypnosis and like being hypnotized, not seeing reality for what it is and all whatnot.
Yeah.
John Carpenter, classic.
John Carpenter was on a mad buzz.
Holy shit, was he?
Back then, you know? Like, where did he come up with this? And, like, what were his motivations? I never actually investigated that. You know? Like, what was the background to this? Because it's just out of nowhere in terms of 80s movies. Where...
it's so weird.
It's like, it's almost on the nose how, you know, like, everyone's seen the Zizek bit.
Yeah,
where he, like,
it's
analyzes
so fucking good though.
It's like the trash can of ideology and shit like that. But like
we are all eating from the trash can of ideology.
Yeah, but like it's almost too. I don't know if maybe Zizek just like read so much into it that it became the like primary reading, or if like this is just like a hidden gem. Like was John Carpenter like that woke, like that ahead of his time that
I don't know.
he wrote all this into the film.
Because when you take the Zizek reading, it is so
everything
obvious.
fits. It fits like a glove.
It's so obvious what he's talking about. And I actually do think it is. I think a lot of it was intentional because there is right. So, according to my notes, right, and the opening shot is a wall and there's graffiti on it. Right, they live is like within the world that's on like. Because like the title screen, They Live comes on, and then it fades in, and it's They Live is actually part of like this graffiti piece, and the graffiti piece is of this like this like city or whatever, and there's a guy walking around, and the guy has like swirls around his eyes, and there's a needle, as of like drugs, like we're all drugged up because of what's going on, and in front of him is a building, and the building has a spiral on it, and at the top of the building is it looks like a cross, right, which ties into the end of the film, the fact that like John Nada like blows up the fucking satellite, so it's like, you know,
John Nada, that's a key part as well.
Yeah, John Nada, his name being Nada.
Is his name being nothing? John, the
John
most boring name, and then John.
He is
nothing.
complete subject.
The blank subject of ideology.
But it is like, I think that is intentional because like you wouldn't have a shot like, you wouldn't have an opening like that which so clearly sets out what you're talking about. Like in terms of like we are being controlled and we're being manipulated and we're being hypnotized by TV. Essentially, is like what like that
yeah, and ads
and like all that stuff. And I was talking to Liam and Robin, two mates, during the week about this, and Robin was saying that like she was finding that the fight scene, which goes on for ages, like it's like, so brutal as well.
Is that 9-10 minutes?
It's like, yeah, it is like 8 or 9 minutes or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, so like Zizek's reading is that it's the struggle to overcome the ideology that has colonized you like automatically, like to see the truth.
Yeah.
But like, there's also the reading that it's Roddy Piper, and they're just like trying to take advantage of the fact that he was in WWE.
Yeah, it's like that's what I was saying. It was like, like it is just that thing where like they had a wrestler, so why not just have a wrestling match in between? But it like she was saying like when because you watched the Zizek video afterwards, and like thinking back on it, it made it like way more. It added so much to that fight because it's such a human thing. She was saying like it's such a human struggle. Like it's like because like. John Nada knows the truth that like there's aliens about and they're hypnotizing us and they're lying to us and they're brainwashing us. Meanwhile, the other guy is like kind of aware that that's going on. He kind of knows that that's the thing, but he doesn't actually
want to see it.
He doesn't want to see it, and it's like such a struggle where like John Nada's like, no, you need to fucking see this. You need to be aware of the truth. Whereas the other guy's like, if I do that, my life, they're like, this is only gonna make my life worse. It's so much easier to live in bliss, and that's why he's so against putting on the sunglasses. Because all he has to do is put on sunglasses.
Yeah,
but he's willing.
Simple, yeah.
He's willing to literally kill the dude over it.
Yeah, it's like there's like a Burroughs quote about how great art is just telling people what they already know, just like things that you already intuitively know, but you can't accept for whatever reason. And like when you really get through to someone or get through to people, it's by just making them make that own leap for themselves, you know, to like do their own sort of thing.
Making that truth known.
Yeah. Whereas for like John Nada, it's just like boxing this fella in until he just
pile driving him and stuff like that
until he accepts it, you know, which is great. It's a great scene. It is extremely long though. It's
but it is that
gratuitous.
Thing. It's like, but especially because like John Nada, he like almost gives up like 2 or 3 times. But it's like that thing where, and I feel like people our age might kind of know that struggle. Some of us. Where you have to have that difficult discussion with an older family member who probably doesn't agree with your viewpoint, but you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying to convince them and show them the light. You have to force them to wear the fucking glasses.
You have to pummel them in an alleyway.
Yeah.
And throw them over
and give them a fucking power bomb onto the fucking ground until they eventually put on the glasses and see the truth. And it's a thing like, don't give up. Keep fucking trying, because eventually you will help these people see the truth. And it is that thing like, we've all had a conversation, which could be like,
it could be a fight.
It could be, but like not that it could be a fight, but like you could relate to the struggle of John Nada trying to get his friend to see the light.
Yeah, there's definitely that aspect to it because it's just so long, so prolonged. Because it's not realistic, obviously, and like that way, it's maybe like WWE, but the fact that it goes on so long, you have to assume that Carpenter was
There's a meaning behind this.
was trying to go for some kind of like he wouldn't.
This dude did Halloween and Daylight beforehand. You know, there has to be a reason for it.
He definitely did that for a reason, and the fact that Zizek sort of like copped onto that was just like surely. It's just so obvious, you know. It's such an obvious reading. It's really good. It really works. Yeah. Really works in the context of the film, even though you can sort of skip it. But
you can skip it, but don't skip it. It's great, and it's so fucking brutal.
It is. Yeah,
it's really violent. There's a bit where like he's like on top of him, and he's just like lifting up his knee and just driving it into his crotch like 3 or 4 times, and it just makes you like, oh fuck me.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, you know.
Driving your knee into your best mate's crotch.
Yeah, that's ideology, man.
But yeah, like look at my notes. Yeah, of course, like the whole John nada mean nothing. Literally, he is complete subject to ideology. Quote from Zizek, not my own words. But like, there's a bit as well where like Nada is talking to oh god, I'm gonna just call him Keith Davis. Can't remember the actual character's name, but he's talking to him. And they're both describing like how capitalism works, and John Nada, who's like you can assume that he's in his 30s or 40s at this stage, and he's like, nah man, I'm gonna work my way up to the top. I'm gonna I'm gonna make something of myself, because he believes in the American dream. He believes that he's gonna do this. Meanwhile, the first fucking work site that he goes to is a union work site, and he's literally like, you can't really work here because you're not part of a union, but you have to pay to be part of a union, and it's like, the barrier to like even getting into like the most basic fucking job is not accessible to him. Yet he still believes, I will work my way up to the top and I'll be able to do this.
Yeah, he's a sap.
But then he puts on the glasses and he sees the truth.
Yeah, he starts shooting up random places.
That bit is so fucking funny.
Yeah, this like we were talking earlier about like a remake or whatever. Like the remake would have to address like certain parts of the film.
That like he goes on a mass shooting.
Yeah, he's basically he's a mass shooter. Yeah, he just goes around killing people, and the only reason that we go along with the fact that he's doing this is because we can see what he's seeing. But if you read it as if this guy's just fucking insane, and he thinks aliens have invaded, then it's just a guy shooting up a bank and like killing random
police officers.
Yeah. But like the fact that he does go after a bank and then police officers is like it is very important.
Yeah, because like the first place he goes into is a fucking bank, because it's like he knows like, oh, I know where these aliens are gonna be. They're gonna be in the bank.
Yeah.
And he walks in and sure enough the place is fucking filled with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact as well, like, the police officers are watchdogs for this like upper elite, keeping the people in check, keeping the people down, making sure that they don't get wise to like what's going on.
There's no way you can make that like where someone just walks into a bank, shoots up the place, and then goes and kills loads of cops.
And he's the good guy.
Yeah, and he's the good. You'd have to like maybe he's a rogue cop or something like that, and he's taking down the corrupt cops. Like that. That's the only way you can make that today. I think.
Yeah. Especially because he's literally just like, he's living in like a fucking homeless refugee camp kind of area.
Yeah.
And then that scene where like they come in and they just like massacre people, and like come in and like it's like you've seen shit on the fucking news where police are doing that stuff, that especially with like the whole Black Lives Matter, all the protests and stuff like that. Like you've seen images like that, and like it's weird that you can now tie that directly. And like I assume that like there had to have been like John Carpenter had to have been like looking at something that was going on at that time and like replicating it in the film, where these police force are coming in and like for no reason just going in and taking out like all these homeless people and like moving them out of the way and stuff like that, because there's a danger there that they're going to become wise to the fact of like what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the 80s is a bad time, obviously, in the States. The end of the American dream. Gremlins 1, remember? Remember the lesson of Gremlins 1? It's like, the whole decay of the old 50s ideal. The fact that they sort of betrayed the 60s, which tried to overcome that, and they still couldn't get back to that ideal.
Yeah.
John Nada is like the embodiment of that. Like he believes in the dream of the 50s and stuff like that, but he can never reach it because he's an idiot. He has to put on the glasses to realize what the truth is, and he sees all these terrible things happen, obviously. But yeah, it is. It's fucked.
It's bleak.
It's fucked. It's a great film though. It's very short as well. It's like an hour and a half.
It is an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's actually a line as well where like he gets like with the resistance or whatever, and one of the leaders is just like, oh yeah, they call us commies to like dissuade other people from joining us, whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, right. So it's kind of like the exact same thing that goes on now. James Corden, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden. Not that Joe Biden is anyway like those two characters, but they're all communists and they're pushing socialism in order to dissuade taking the money or whatever from the rich. And it's the same thing that goes on in this film.
The bastards.
Black Lives Matter is communist. Like this, we see this all the time, and it's
Yeah.
weird that it's referenced in this film as well.
Mm.
Like, surely the fuck, John Carpenter's pointing at something there.
Yeah, but you just wouldn't think it because like
Yeah.
all, the rest of his films are just like they don't really say anything. And Halloween is like
An extremely conservative
yeah,
film.
an explicitly conservative film. So
Which
like
is
it's a bit
weird.
weird.
Like, it's almost like John Carpenter like accidentally made Halloween a very conservative film, so then blatantly made They Live a super left wing film.
Maybe, yeah.
But he also has a film that came out recently called Pro Life, and I haven't seen it.
It
but
doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? I don't know. I didn't see that at all.
No, it's on Letterboxd.
Yeah, fuck that. He's lost his touch a bit anyway, especially in recent years.
Has he even done anything in recent years, really?
Ghost on Mars, 2001, I think it was. Shy.
What the fuck is that?
It's ghosts on Mars, but they kill people and stuff.
Cool.
It's not good.
No, it doesn't sound good.
No, last good thing he did was In the Mouth of Madness, which I don't know. I think I might have talked about this before, a long time ago, many episodes ago.
Mm.
But
I think is that the one with
Sam Neill. I think
yeah,
it is.
Sam
I
Neill.
wanna say Sam
Yeah,
Neill.
yeah. You did talk about this briefly.
Yeah.
When we
It
talked about
was-
Lovecraft for a bit.
Yeah. That is pretty good. But
Is it?
it's not like there's no message behind it. It's just like, oh,
Yeah,
things are horrible, you know. So yeah, it's weird that he'd made this, but that's sort of what you want, someone that's unpredictable. That
Yeah.
like a
Keep your eye on them. See what they
a
do.
multitude of different perspectives and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Just looking at my notes. There's like so many things in it. Like humans are literally always serving the aliens in it as well. They're like the aliens, whatever. They're never, the person behind the counter serving you food or whatever. They're always buying shit or just like floating around, going to the banks, being the police, doing whatever. And there's literally a bit where like John Nada's like walking through the grocery store and he sees them all about whatever, and he's like listening in on what they're talking about. And he hears one human say to one of the aliens like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe you got that promotion," or whatever. And your man's like, "Oh yeah, work hard, whatever, and you eventually get there as well." Like
Yeah.
they're like, it's just like you got the promotion because you're fucking clearly an alien.
Because you're the alien, yeah.
But he's then saying to him like, "Oh, if you work hard, you'll be like me." Like they're constantly promoting the idea of the American dream or whatever, and then that ties into the rich people that like basically sell their souls to the aliens and know that they're around or whatever, but they're gonna be on their side because they're like, might as well be on the winning team.
They're winning. The aliens are winning, so might as well. I for one welcome our alien overlords or whatever.
What's that from?
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Kent Brockman. Wise words.
Yeah, even sorry, just looking at my notes as well. There's this film feels like a western film, like a western like a stranger coming into town kind of film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he does literally come into town
Yeah.
at the start of the film,
And it's like
with a
this
bag on his back.
western music in the background as well, like this twangy
Yeah.
guitar.
That's all JC, John Carpenter,
Yeah,
doing the score.
Oh my god,
He's
the
very
music is
versatile.
So fucking good.
Very
Oh,
versatile.
the music is so
The
good.
synths. Oh, love it. You love it.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
But it also ties into, I think, the idea, because like the western genre often seen as like pro American dream and such and whatnot, pro like the idea like you can go somewhere and you can make it or whatever, and John Nada is also that. Do you think as well that John Nada being like tied to like John Carpenter, like that's the
Nah, no, I don't know, because like John is just like
or
John,
is it just like John generic basically?
yeah, because like John's the most generic name you could anyone can think of. Like, no offense to any Johns out there, but like it's like the default. It's like Sean in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's like the default name, and Nada is literally nothing in Spanish, I suppose.
But it is, I think, the thing where like he's just a nobody walking into town, and it ties it to the Western genre in that way, where the Western genre was like so pro all these ideas, whereas this film is a direct critique of those ideas.
Yeah, because like the westerns, like the individual, like, you know, Clint Eastwood walking in, he's like, you know, squinting his eyes and like cocking his gun. He's like, I'm gonna change this
literally
town.
cocking the fucking phallic imagery.
Yeah, I'm gonna cock my cock at you, and you're gonna have to leave town because there's only room for one of these in town, you know. Whereas John Nada walks in, he's like, give me a job, and then
Please.
and he just joins in with everyone else. You know, he's not just one guy. He's part of a syndicate of the resistance, you know.
And it's such a huge change as well from like John Nada pre-putting on the glasses to John Nada after putting on the glasses, because he literally beforehand he says like, I'm not really a people person, I don't really hang around with people. Then he sticks on the glasses and he's walking around and he's like, you are fucking ugly. And it's like, and then he points at one's like, you look alright. This one real fucking ugly. Like just like so obviously pointing. I don't know why he outs himself so obviously and like is like directly attacking the aliens, and the aliens are like, oh, we got one that can see, and it's like, yeah, I can fucking see. I'm fucking woke.
Yeah, it's great.
But I think that is in response to like him becoming a like 80s action hero, because 80s action heroes are like kind of like a development of the Western person, whatever, where like the 80s action heroes like big, macho, masculine, kicking the shit out of everyone, fucking shooting guns, whatever, gonna fucking kill all the indigenous people in this tribe or whatever because they're on fucking American soil or some fucking bullshit like that.
They're on our land.
They're on our land. We need this, and the corporation needs to come in or some shit like that.
It's like Rambo, you know?
Yeah.
The way Gizmo embodies Rambo in like a really satirical way, John Nada overcomes that and like transcends that sort of role.
Yeah.
And becomes something else altogether. He's not just Rambo. He's like something else. He's like part of like a glob that's coordinated against this alien overlord mass, you know.
Who are also super rich and super white.
Yeah. I've seen some like readings where like it's just an anti-Semitic trope.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
It's just about Jews.
Yeah,
where like that's also sort of a fair reading as well.
Yeah, because you
but,
can.
Like, that's a really specific reading. Like you'd have to assume that John Carpenter is a Nazi. And if he's not a Nazi...
Well, he actually came out and said, I am not... He literally said, came out years later, he had to come out and say, I was not talking about Jews whatsoever. I was not doing that. I was explicitly talking about the rich.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because a bunch of Nazis took the film like, oh, we should go on mass shootings and kill all the Jews. A bunch of Nazis thought it was.
A lot of people read it in a lot of different ways. I think you can read it for pretty much any way you want, you know? Oh, it's about the Irish versus the English, you know? Or whatever, you know.
You could do it. Yeah, you literally could.
You could do it for a lot of things.
But it's always...
There's a concentration on like TV and like advertisements and stuff like that, which sort of undermines the whole thing.
I love that scene. I fucking love that scene where he puts on the glasses and he's just walking around and he sees everything. And it's like, obey. And then it's like, consume and reproduce and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene.
It's dead on.
Fucking Rowdy Roddy Piper had no excuse to be that good. He's so good in that film.
Yeah, where did he come from, you know? Like,
wrestling, bro.
Yeah, but like did he have anything else before this?
I don't think so. I don't think he did anything else afterwards.
He's just like, I'm going to work with John Carpenter and like his latest fucking anti-capitalist screed.
Like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. He's very good in it, though.
He is really good.
He's great as like an everyman. They should do that more. Like someone like John Cena is like a joke. Like, I don't know wrestlers and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be a wrestler, like some sort of cultural icon, where oftentimes they show up as jokes now, or it's just sort of like bit characters or cameos or whatever. But they could do their own thing where they sort of, you know, try to get at the nut of why are they famous, or like why are
what's going on?
Yeah, why am I such a joke? Like, why do I need to be a cameo? Why can't I be the main character and like understand also why I'm the cameo characters? I don't know, something like that. Like they could do that. You don't see it these days. You don't. You
don't see films like They Live anymore.
Not at all. They used to make great films.
Oh yeah, but you wouldn't make they wouldn't make a film like this anymore.
Nah, they wouldn't remake this because it just people would just say it's about Jews, and then the whole thing would be pulled like and like, you know, there'd be loads of editorials in like different newspapers or whatever, and then there'd be like a notification from Time Warner, whoever released this, and they'd be like, yeah, we've decided to pull the entire film.
Like, and you get Tom Cruise fucking screaming on set.
Yeah, the COVID regulations aren't being abided by or whatever, you know.
I think it is important in the film though as well that the fact that like he teams up, like it's a black blind priest that's the one that kind of introduces the idea to him. And his best mate is black as well. I think that's really important as well. The fact that like these are the disenfranchised people. These are the people that are also oppressed.
He can see everything because he's seen it all basically.
Yeah, and he's old as well.
Yeah, he's old. He's black. He's blind. Like this guy's seen a lot of things, even though he can't see it at all. So it's very significant. There's lots of little things in the film like that. I haven't seen it in ages, but
It's great.
I know there's like all those little sprinkling of meaning,
There's loads of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is that thing, he's old and he's black and he's faced a lot of racism and he's faced a lot of oppression and he's blind. So he doesn't. But through his blindness, he sees the truth. It's like that fucking thing from what film were we talking about before? Peepin' Tom. Yeah. So it's not being able to consume the TV because the TV's gonna fucking.
But it makes you see, not being able to see.
Yeah.
In a way.
That's a recurring motif in loads of films. It is actually such a lazy thing in films. It's the blind character, they're the ones that can actually see.
It works in this, though.
It does.
This doesn't take itself seriously.
No, it doesn't at all. It's super fucking 80s. But I recommend everyone watch it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's great.
I love to see it. And
now, on to the listener questions. If you have a question, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at paro_pod, or you can ask us by email, theparopod@gmail.com.
That's it.
First question is coming in from Isabel, and Isabel asks us, what our favorite film now versus 5 years ago, and how has your movie taste changed? What are you thinking, Mark?
My movie taste has changed a lot.
Same.
A lot.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what my favorite movie was 5 years ago.
I don't know.
I can't really remember. Right now it'd be a lot different, but that's experience watching more films. So 5 years ago, 2015. That's a long time ago these days, 5 years, a lot of time passes. That's a fifth of my life,
Yeah.
So I'd be 17.
Yeah, I'd be 16. I don't know what my favorite. Fight Club would have probably been my favorite film when I was 16 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know what would have been my favorite. Maybe Zodiac or something like that. I was into films at that point, but it would have been Oscar films and stuff, and
same.
Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever premium film was on Netflix. I would have been into that. I would have followed the Oscars and stuff like that back then.
Yeah.
So 2015, I'd say probably something like Zodiac, but nowadays it'd be more back in the past, the 80s, stuff like Videodrome maybe.
Pulling out films that you never would have heard, kind of films that you did dig into.
Yeah, stuff that wouldn't have been recognized maybe formally.
Yeah.
That when you look back on
Your Day Lives.
Yeah, Your Day Lives and Cronenberg and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. It has changed definitely a lot though. Just in terms of digging into more stuff and finding out where things come from. I liked Fincher back then. I remember seeing Seven when I was younger. I thought that was amazing, but I didn't know where the context where it came from. I just saw this mad film on, I think it was on Film 4. I saw Seven and I was oh, that's a really good film, but I had no idea of why it was a good film.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think when you get older, you start to recognize and the more films you watch, you notice why a film affects you the way it does, or at least I think at this stage, especially with the podcast, you really think more about films than it would have in the past. Whereas in the past, I'm Shawshank Redemption, best film ever because it's number 1 on IMDb, and that's why it's the best film ever, and that's why it's my favorite because everyone else fucking likes it. I think when I was 16, I'm trying to think of film. I can't even remember. I've always liked Lord of the Rings has always been one of my favorites, and I probably would have. Even now, I'd say that's one of my favorite films. And back then, I probably would have said the same thing, that's my favorite film ever, or favorite films ever. But besides that, I'm trying to think of other films. I can't. It's hard to remember what films I really liked when I was younger.
Yeah, it actually is. Way back when,
Or has there recently been a film that you really liked when you were younger, but then you went back to it and you didn't like it?
Austin Powers, yeah.
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 I think comedies a lot of the time are
comedies really age pretty badly. In terms of drama, I don't really watch dramas before. I still don't really watch dramas, but yeah, I don't think so, no. Because I used to love the Bourne films and I went back and watched them. and they're still really good. So that works out. Maybe Harry Potter. I used to love Harry Potter, but I didn't like love it. Like, I didn't watch it religiously. Like, but that's not as good as I remembered. You know?
Yeah, I think like Train Spot and stuff like that. Like when you're, I think like when you're like 16, and like especially like as a guy getting into films, and you get into all those other, like film bro films, and they're all your favorites, like your Fight Clubs, like your Inceptions, like any Christopher Nolan film. You're like, that's the best film ever. Fucking, like, I don't know, but like I think now, especially like I really enjoy like reading into like the subtext of a film. And like trying to understand like what's going on beneath the like plain text, and I enjoy films way more for their subtext, like They Live. Like I remember the first time I watched They Live, and I was probably like I probably was like 15, 16 when I watched it, and I didn't like enjoy it that much because I didn't understand the subtext. But now coming back and you're reading into the film and I'm understanding like what's going on, it brings out aspects of a film that I wouldn't have understood when I was younger. It also has to do a lot with like reading more and being more like conscious, like socially conscious of like, you know, the critiques of like capitalism, or like, you know, it's talking about toxic masculinity, or it's talking about you know, the like like how women are exploited and all this type of shit. That's like what all this bullshit. Like that's it's like because like I don't think I would have understood like what like toxic masculinity or anything like that would have been when because I was watching Fight Club. I'm like, that film is fucking cool, and Tyler Durden's a cool dude,
cool lad,
and not understand like what the film is actually doing. Like now, favorite films, like I think Alien will be one of my favorite films. Because like I watched that film, like there's only a few things that I think are like technically wrong with the film. What about you? What would you say is like your favorite film now? Like one of your favorite films?
Videodrome, definitely.
Videodrome.
Definitely my favorite film right now. But I wouldn't have known what it was before, and maybe back then, like I remember watching the trailer for Mad Max back in 2015, because that's when it first came out. Yeah. And I was like, this looks amazing, and then. But I would have liked that the same way that I like it now, you know? Like, I liked it because there's, like, you know, this fucking, you know, badass Mad Max going out and, like, wrecking stuff in a car. And, like, you know, it's just like a great action film.
Yeah.
Like, that's the same reason I like it now. Like, maybe I appreciate more aspects of it. Basically.
Yeah, I think, like, action films, like...
Yeah.
Because you like action films for the action, and that never really ages.
Yeah, it didn't age for me at all. Like it's just like a thrill ride, you know?
Yeah.
But in like a better way than like a standard blockbuster. I can't really, because I've never really thought about those films that much. I just really enjoy them. So like, I don't know, in that way, like I haven't changed at all. But in obviously in other ways, like in terms of like reading the text and like, you know, understanding how they're made and stuff like that, there has been a lot of differences. But like Mad Max is like one of those things where you can't really delve into that too much, because it's not really about the writing, or
it's not, it's just about the set pieces or whatever.
The set pieces and stuff. But like Videodrome is something I've been into for like a few years.
But do you think you would have joined that for the same reasons now as if you watched it when you were like 15, 16?
No, I don't think, because I remember watching it like maybe like 2017. I think I watched it. I didn't think it was that good, because it didn't make any sense, and the plot doesn't make any sense.
Unless you read the subtext. Or
yeah,
whatever.
you have to go into it, which is almost, it's like that does detract from it. And it's not a good thing, really. I don't think. But yeah, once you read more into it, I think you can appreciate it a lot more. It's definitely like my favorite film right now. Whereas before, it would have been something that I was like, I loved the ideas. Even back then, I loved the ideas, but I just didn't. I thought it was like really badly done. But now now that I've like, you know, looked more into it,
maturity,
and maybe I understand like the stuff in it.
That
more.
College degree and learning about that shit really helps as well.
That $9,000, that was spent on fucking teaching me all that bollocks. Now
that $9,000,
I finally understand.
I spent $9,000 to finally appreciate Videodrome.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
What would be a film that you love now that you maybe you wouldn't have liked as much.
Something like any
5
Harmony
years.
Korine film, like Trash
Really?
Humpers. I would have fucking hated that when I was a kid.
Man, I still sort of hate
I still
that.
kinda hate that film, but I still think it's great. Like,
It is great, yeah.
But like anything like I guarantee if I was like 15, 16 and I watched fucking Eraserhead, I'd absolutely fucking despise it because I wouldn't understand what's going on. Because they're
Yeah.
the kind of films where like they're not for enjoyment. They're like they're to sit there and like think about what's going on, or like any like kind of slow films. Like if I was to see like I don't know, fucking
I'm thinking of ending things.
I'm thinking of ending things, I'd fucking hate it.
I would have hated that a year ago, man. I would have hated that a year
Yeah.
ago. I would have been like, what the fuck is this?
Any like actually any Kaufman film, because I remember watching Anomalisa when I was like 15, 16, and I didn't like it. Then I come back to it like last year, and I watch it. I'm like, oh god, I get it now because I feel lonely too.
It's so sad.
But like it's like those things like where when you're a kid you don't have those experiences or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I didn't anyway. I'm sure a lot of kids do feel really, really lonely. Probably do really appreciate Anomalisa.
You're like watching like Les Miserables. What the fuck are these people on about?
What the
Who
fuck
cares?
Who the fuck cares about freedom? But like, it is that thing where like when you get older and you have more life experiences and you enjoy more. Like, I'm trying to think of another film. Like Her. I enjoyed Her a lot more when I was older. Because I became a sad, lonely man, an incel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you relate to more. You know,
Yeah.
you relate to a lot more.
Because those films aren't for kids, obviously. They're for older people that have experienced those things, and that's why you enjoy them when you're older.
Yeah,
Whereas like, when you're a kid, you're just like, this film's fucking boring. There's no explosions, and there's no cool characters like Tyler Durden. Why is Joaquin Phoenix sad? Why can't he just blow things up like Tyler Durden?
yeah. I just think that as well. It's like, oh, why don't you just kill these people? You know, why don't you just like pull a Mad Max?
There's a simple solution to this to your problem. Just kill them.
Just kill them, man.
I think as well, like one of the film recommendations, I think it was the third one they had, Perfect Blue. Like when I first watched that, I didn't like it at all. But then I came back to it years later and like understood, you know, the whole. And again, it's because of the reading of like that like fear of being online and everyone seeing you and people like not seeing you, thinking that you're something that you're not. But that's the horror of that in that film. And I think like, you know, being like 14, 15, 16, I didn't really think about the consequences of social media. Whereas now I'm fucking terrified of it. Doing this podcast is a fucking nightmare. There's so many bits I have to edit out. But yeah, I think again, like, I think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to, like, in 5 years, I probably won't like some of the films that I enjoy now.
Yeah. Or like them in different ways.
Like films,
Yeah.
they have multiple things to them.
They have layers. Some might say.
Shrek only gets better.
Shrek is the one film that's like
Timeless.
Timeless. And it's like impervious.
I think Shrek 2 genuinely
aging.
actually might be impervious.
Oh, definitely. Like if that came out now, I'd be like, that's gonna age badly. Like all these contemporary songs. We're talking about Shrek 2 for like the third episode in a row. Like,
it deserves it.
I think it's the fourth maybe. But yeah, it's like all these contemporary songs. You know, it's like it's like a new take on an old fairy tale. That'll age. That'll be gone by fucking 2025. But you know, here we are. That was released in 2004.
Yeah, something like that.
Here we are 16 years later, fucking raving on about it, dedicating hours and hours of audio to this one film.
Because it has the best ending of any film ever.
Yeah, it's like it could be considered one of the greatest films of the 21st century. Like down the line.
Down the line.
Down the line. A bit down the line.
It is the Citizen Kane of its time.
The Citizen Kane of ogre movies.
Well, the other comparison is that you got Bright, which might only get worse with age as well. It's already poorly aged when it came out.
Bright, yeah, Jesus.
But it is interesting to think about like how your taste in things changes drastically as you get older, and why you enjoy things.
Yeah, what do you think your taste is going to be in 20 years?
Oh man, I think
you're going to be.
I'm going to be 26.
Yeah, 26.
30. How old do you think I am?
I said 20 years.
Oh, 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This said sorry. I thought you said 5 years. I wasn't listening. Yeah, I'll be like fucking 40.
Oh.
I'll be 41.
41. Yeah. What are you gonna like then?
If I
Well-
continue on the way that I'm going now,
But obviously you won't.
but like if I do, like on like reading films or some shit like that, I'm gonna be fucking wanking over some like black and white silent film from 1900 that was like Russian and it dealt with communism or some fucking bullshit like that. I'm gonna think like that's the greatest film ever made.
That's like 5 minutes long.
It's like 5 minutes long. It's like it's complete perfection. There's nothing wrong with it. I was like, oh, there's actually like 10 minutes that you can't find anywhere.
Yeah, it's a lost film. My favorite film is a lost film that's never been seen.
Yeah, it's some fucking bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Like if I continue, it's not gonna happen. But like if I continue down my like level of wankery,
Yeah, it can only go downhill from here. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah.
But that makes me wonder, like, how many other films, like, how many like Gremlins or like Day Lives or stuff like that, or like Peeping Toms. How many Peeping Toms are out there that I don't know about that are waiting there to be uncovered?
Right now, you know, like I think the last one we covered how like maybe cinema hasn't gotten like less artistic, but like there's more out there in terms of like art, but maybe it's more concentrated, like the actual production or whatever. Like there's more being produced now than ever. It's just we don't see.
Yeah, so surely there's something.
We don't see 95% of it. Like what's out there right now.
Yeah,
I read a tweet I think a while ago. It said the first YouTuber president has been born, already lives.
oh,
You know,
God,
stuff like that.
is fucking
Like you
crazy.
have to think about things like that. You know,
Yeah.
the next great influential film has already been made,
Mm.
but we don't know. We don't know it's in our midst, but we can't see it.
Or, like,
It's
imagine,
somewhere
like,
there.
Imagine like in fucking 2060, and then you come across. Although to be fair, you're gonna be like 60 when you're that age. You're probably not gonna be looking at the films that much. But anyway,
The
if you-
films,
the films, the movies,
the movies.
Well, like there's a
Are you
film.
going
like,
to the holograms today?
it's like, no, I'm gonna stay home. But like in this year of like especially like COVID, like imagine like in like 30 years time, 40 years time, whatever, right? And you come across this film that was released only on YouTube and it's like an hour and a half long and it got lost in the fucking the wave or whatever.
10 views.
And then you find it and it's this like masterpiece, this like complete unknown masterpiece that like is like actually turned out to be like wildly influential, but no one ever fucking knew about it.
Or you find this podcast with 10 views on YouTube and you're thinking, wow, how do people neglect this at the time?
Like we
In 2060.
It's like I get up like 80 and I have Alzheimer's. I'm listening. And I was like, I found this podcast. It's called PowerPod. It's really good.
Yeah, it's mad. Like where's it gonna be? Like consider like, I don't know. Consider like 2050. So like that's
What does cinema look like at that stage?
Yeah, it's only 30 years in the future. But at the same time, 1990. Well, 1990 looks a lot different to right now. You know, there's no streaming services. There's no phones. There's no.
That's what I was gonna. Yeah.
You know.
Like, do you think that there's films that are coming? This is going on for some. But like, do you think that there's films that are coming out now that are predicting things in the future, but we just don't know that it's like your Peeping Tom or like the fucking the image is encapsulated you or whatever.
Yeah.
That there's films coming out now that we don't really know about, but in like 30 years time, it's like, oh shit, this film like predicted the future basically.
Yeah, definitely.
There definitely
There's
is films.
definitely something there, and they're like, we're gonna be like, wow, this is exactly what happened, you know. Like, I'm sure there's loads of films that were released at the time of Peeping Tom and said like something else, and the only reason we don't, maybe they're great films and like made well and acted well and written well, but the only reason we don't go back to them is because they didn't say anything really.
Yeah.
Like Peeping Tom says something, so there's definitely films right now, and there's more films than ever being made by more people than ever. So there's gonna be, you know, it's like the whole thing with the monkeys tapping at the typewriter. You're gonna find something for everything.
Some fucking gem.
You know, like 2050, you'll have a fucking every ideology across every part of the world will have some fucking movie or like you know, song or whatever to like justify what they're doing, because they were like, this predicted the future.
Yeah.
And someone else be like, no, this predicted the future, you know, or this is what we're looking at, you know. I think that's you know, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know,
I think it's film and like your taste and like, because even like songs and stuff like my taste in songs changes rapidly.
Same, yeah.
But I think it's because like you consume songs way quicker than when you consume a film nearly, so it's easier for your song taste to change.
Yeah, even an album's an hour max.
Yeah,
usually. But like a film, like has to be like what 2 hours these days. A load of bollocks.
An hour and a half, 2
Load
hours.
of
Which
bollocks.
is like,
And that's one message. A song
Yeah.
can get one message across in like, or no, an album can get a message across in a song, or like a grander message within an album. Whereas a film has one message basically across fucking 2 hours. You know, we're in the wrong business.
in their own business. We should be movie or music reviewers.
Yeah.
Although to be
Fontana.
fair, there's way too much music being made. The music is way too hard to keep up with.
So true.
Alright, I think we should leave it there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Next week we are talking about Sorry to Bother You. It's on Netflix. Watch it. It's weird. It's wonderful. It's great. We're also gonna be talking about Shrek Retold.
Oh,
which
Untold is it? Retold.
Retold, which is on
Retold. Oh, okay.
YouTube. God bless anyone that goes through that fucking film.
How long is this?
It's an hour and a half, like the first Shrek.
Nice.
But it's the first Shrek retold through multiple different creators. It's basically the penultimate meme, the memification of Shrek as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's the pinnacle of that. I think we're going to talk about a few Shrek memes and whatnot. Going to be Shrekking it up next week. Can't wait to get in between those cheeks once again for the last time. All right. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Auld Lang
Bye.
Syne. Bye.